This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Oh, great. You got a doorbell camera. Now you got a front row seat to your house getting robbed. No.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Get out of my house!
Ooh, Mom's jewelry. There goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slowens, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, a free doorbell camera.
Free?
One that'll actually work for you.
It's not total security unless it's the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Protecting your family is your priority. There's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4848 4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, lollipop blow in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, we go. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. The Big O Radio Show is looking for an experienced salesperson in the radio or TV business. The candidate must have at least 5 years of sales experience in the broadcast business over the last 10 years. Please email your phone number and resume to bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Looking for an aggressive person who can help our platform expand into many avenues in our business. Reach out if you are the person that's able to make a difference. The point statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. Yes, sir. Welcome aboard. We are ready to rock and roll on a beautiful Tuesday. Sean Stanley in the house, running it all, putting it all together, and we are here. Hope you all are doing well. It is Jets week, right? So that's the good thing. Last week, we had a bye week. We enjoyed the week off. We enjoyed the weekend off. I don't even know what I did with myself on the weekend. It was like amazing to have 2 straight days off. That was just kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? So we are back in action this week. We're back at Sports Grill on Sunday to continue the winning streak, because obviously it's been a really nice streak there over at Sports Grill in Bird Road. So come on out and join us. I encourage all of you to come on out and join us at Sports Grill on Bird Road. Looking forward to an ass-kicking of the Jets, and hoping to continue the roll. I see Ad Mark says, morning from Denver. Nice. I can't wait for my next trip to Red Rocks to go see a concert in Denver. Actually, Sean, as I'm trying to scheme, not scheme, but plan and put everything together for our off-season trips, and maybe we, go over to the East West Shrine game in Vegas, and everything's a maybe because nothing's etched in stone yet. We got to line up, we got to finish lining up, continue to line up more sponsors and get everything set and prepared for it. But I'm thinking maybe we go to the NFLPA game, which is the week leading into the East-West Shrine, because unfortunately this year the Shrine and the Senior Bowl cross over each other. So I'm thinking, if somehow we could kind of set it up where we go to Los Angeles for the first couple of days and we cover the NFLPA game, and then we drive over to Vegas, and then obviously cover the East-West Shrine, which, by the way, then leads right into the Pro Bowl, and both are in Vegas. So there's a lot of things going on in Vegas, and then Los Angeles is right there. It's a 5-hour drive. I've done the drive from Vegas to Los Angeles. It's nothing. It's a nothing drive. So it's something we could actually do and pull off. So as always, my mind is always working about, music and stuff like that. Are you much of a Iron Maiden fan, Sean? I don't know. I'm just wondering. You into Iron Maiden at all? Not that you'll really hear Iron Maiden, but I don't know. Are you? Do you know anything about Iron Maiden? Yes. No. No. Yes. What did you say? I wasn't looking at the screen. Yes. Okay. So Richie Kotzen and Adrian Smith, they have a new album out. I actually have it. And so they're going to have a tour, a U.S. tour. Now, they're not doing much. They're doing 6 dates. And guess where they're at? They're in California and in Vegas. They're actually at the Whiskey A Go-Go on January 20th. But the interesting part, Sean, is that if we go to the NFLPA game, the NFLPA game is the 23rd through the 28th. So they're going to be in San Diego at Brick by Brick on the 23rd. And we're going to be in Long Beach. So we're not going to be that far away. So I'm just saying, I already got ourselves a little bit of a concert action. If we do cover the NFLPA game that week, then I've got some action that we could possibly have some fun in the evening and go see Kotzen and Adrian Smith jam at Brick by Brick in San Diego. So if anybody's watching the show right now in San Diego, it could be going to San Diego next year shortly too. So looking forward to that. That's part of the trick is when you go on these road trips, I gotta see what music is going on. And a guy like me likes to be stuck out in Vegas and LA for a couple of weeks. So maybe you can enjoy several concerts while I'm out there. We can still do the show every single day. It's not like we were not going to do the show. We'll do the show, but when you work hard, you got to play hard. That's kind of part of the game. That's how life goes, So appreciate all of you as always, keeping it locked in there. Steve Chapman, I see, is first in the house. He says, good morning, Big O and Sean and everybody on the chat board and podcast. I'll start the morning with a smashing of the like button. Thank you, Steve. And thanks to all of you out there for smashing the like button. It's very, very important. I see Jamie Zorria is in the house from San Jose. Ian from Brooklyn. Let's see. Ad Marks, I mentioned. Gus 1388. Thomas Jensen. Barry Brennan. NorCal is in. NorCal, you're gonna call me again? Okay. Let's see what else. Nyborg is in. What else? Giovanni says, morning, Big O. Howdy, folks. Back last night from Green Bay and watched former Finn Grant have a pretty big game. We cut them. They get better elsewhere. Well, that's a Flo thing, bro. When Flo doesn't like you, he goes Flo, Adam Gase, and Joe Philbin. They all have had the habit of going to cry to the front office about, players that they need to get rid of and this and that. So he's done his share of that big time, in a very short time. Antonio is in. Let's see. And NorCal says Iron Maiden, 4 decades of great music. I agree wholeheartedly on that. Giovanni says, had fun hearing you and Omar chat about Grant playing well yesterday. Anyhow, glad to have you on live again, and I sit here and work. Thanks, and thanks, Sean. Giovanni, it is our honor. Okay. Ooh, I'm told Primus, May 3rd at Fillmore. Wow. Primus at the Fillmore. That's awesome. That's awesome. Way to go, Fillmore. Wow. Okay. Got you know what? We're gonna have to go down to the Fillmore to go see Primus. Ray says, Big O, I recently saw Dawkins. Seems like Don Dawkins has lost his voice. Enjoyed George Lynch shredding, though. Yeah, Ray, I don't know if you know, but Don Dawkins has had several he had an operation that went really bad. And his hands actually are not only he can't sing the same way, obviously, but he even has trouble holding the mic. It's really, really sad. Him and Phil Collins both had procedures that went terribly wrong and has caused physical ailments that they cannot recover from. And, that's scary. You know what I'm saying? And wow, but it's sad. It's sad. I know that Lynch can still shred. But yeah, Dawkins he's not the Don Dawkins that we grew up with, my brother. I know. It sucks. Oh, what hot wallet do you use? I go to crypto.com, my brother. Crypto has I use a lot of crypto.com because I stake a lot and they have a cold wallet storage also. So, and remember when you stake, it's already like on a cold wallet anyways. So it's away from your account as it is. So it's locked away. But yeah, I would suggest crypto. I think that's a pretty good one. I'm a heavy crypto.com user. OK Coin. I am now becoming an enormous OK Coin guy because I've got some stuff on OK Coin now, obviously, and it's growing. And they're adding a coin every day now. They have the 12 days of Christmas, 12 coins a day that they've been adding and all that. So and I've got several coins on there. And recently, by the way, and like Voyager, I also use. I use crypto.com, OK Coin, Voyager, because not everybody has all the coins. I wish somebody copied Gate.io. Gate.io has all the coins, but Gate.io, it's a pain in the ass to get the money to them, and you have to pay the gas fees and all that, and it's a Canadian company. So you can't even connect your bank account to it like you can with Voyager or crypto or Coinbase or Binance or whatever, like normal exchanges that you connect your account, and then as you want to buy something, boom, it comes out directly. No, this you have to go through the whole mission of purchasing coins on one wallet and then transferring it to Gate and then also paying the gas fee. And I just, that's a pain in the ass. But yeah, that's kind of the way it is. You have to use multiple wallets. So for cold storage, not hot storage, I think you meant more cold storage. You want to buy either a Nano, and remember, if you buy a Nano for cold storage, buy it directly from them. Don't buy it from a third party. Okay? Because keys come with that. And if it comes from a third party, not that, let's say somebody on Amazon is going to open the box and get the keys, but you just never know. So you're better off getting it directly from the company that sells the cold wallets. Don't buy it from a third-party company that has all kinds in a selection like Amazon or somewhere else or something like that. Don't do that. Okay? Buy it directly from them. Let's see. And by the way, I've been on Voyager. I've been taking advantage of Monero. Monero for me is, going to be. It was in $517. It's at 184 right now, and Monero is, because the blockchain is public, because you can see everything, because there are no lies, no nothing. You can't fudge anything on the blockchain. Um, Secrecy is going to grow, and it's going to be a demand. Whether it's a company that wants to pay somebody representing them and people don't want to find out how much they're paying them, they're going to use Monero through that. And Monero is the GOAT of secrecy on the blockchain. And they were at $517. They're now at $184. It's going to bounce back, and it's going to go even higher than that. I eventually expect that. And Monero does something that pretty much nobody else does at that level, and that's companies, and from a rapper that wants to pay his ghostwriter, and so nobody finds out, it's going to be used through Monero. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, you're going to have an ugly divorce between two famous people, and they're going to separate stuff. And instead of people finding out publicly on what goes on, it'll be done through Monero. You know what I mean? All these I could come up with so many scenarios. I know some people talk about, well, what about illegal activity? Well, illegal activity has been done with regular money, with people, with animals, with gold, with whatever for centuries. So that has nothing to do with it. But Monero, eventually, I'm a big believer in it. Do your own homework. But it's something that I've also now gotten heavily involved in, because I truly believe it's going to grow, and Monero will be a monster, and you can only get it on Voyager. That's where I get my BitTorrent, which again, obviously it's a lot cheaper now. So, that's the thing. That's the problem. Not every, like, I can get Star Atlas and Miami Coin, and I can stake at a higher rate on OKCoin than I can in other places. So I do certain things on OKCoin that I don't do in other places. I do certain things on crypto that I can't do in other places. I do certain things on Voyager I can't do in other places. That's kind of the way it works. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those where you kind of got to break it up, unfortunately. Did I see that Holland is out with COVID too? Yes. For those of you Dolphins fans out there that don't know what happened, they've got Ahmed, Gaskin, and Lindsay on COVID status. Holland was also put on COVID status. Now, there's still a chance that some of the running backs could come back if they test negative on back-to-back days over the next couple of days, because they've already been on the list since last week. So we don't know if it's contact or they really had it or anything like that. So we'll find out later on in the week if those guys will be clear. Javon Holland, I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is I don't want to see Clayton Fingellum back there at safety. That's all I know. Okay? So whoever is going to play back there, give Sheldrick Redwine a little opportunity or somebody. But, just I don't know. Whatever you want to do, man. However you want to break it down, whatever. But please, Fingellum, I don't want to see play safety. The guy's a special teamer, and it's kind of like Larry Izzo. Like, you love Larry Izzo as a special teamer. He is God. You don't want him anywhere near playing linebacker. He was a terrible linebacker. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. Specialists are specialists. You use them as what they are. You know what I'm saying? But yes, they are. They signed Tommy Lee Lewis, a wide receiver, and a running back, Dexter Williams. They released Travis Fulgham, the wide receiver. They activated Duke Johnson from the practice squad. Those are some of the moves that they made yesterday in transactions. So Wednesday they will start getting ready for the New York Jets, and we'll have some fun. I hope to see you guys out there at Sports Grill on Bird Road in Miami, and help us cheer on the Dolphins. And they go 6-0. Mike Honcho is in. Giovanni, let's see, Finn's Tailgate. What else? Fred Soros. G Firm is in the house. Love you, brother. Thank you, G Firm. Taylor Johnson says, Big O, you like Iron Maiden, then you got to go to Rock and Roll Ribs in Coconut Creek. The drummer is the owner. Whole place is decked out in the memorabilia. Taylor, I've been to Rock and Roll Ribs about 10 times. I've had Nico on my show a couple of times, so you might be new to the show. But yes, Iron Maiden is my favorite band. Okay, they are my favorite metal band for sure, but they're one of my favorite bands of all time, period. So yes, I've been there many, many times, loved it. Always go have a Trooper beer to go along with my food. So yes, I am a monster Iron Maiden fan. Yes. And I've had the pleasure of having Nico on the show. And hanging out with Nico at shows too. Let's see what else. Anthony Campos, James Barry, Rosendo says, good morning, Big O Nation. Tuesday isn't bad. It's a sign I've somehow survived Monday. This is your opportunity to thank God for another beautiful day. Have a happy and blessed Tuesday. Thank you, Rosendo. Appreciate your words as always. Your positive words. I love them every single day. Susie is in. It all sounds so confusing. I'll just play red. Thomas Birch says, so this has turned into a Bitcoin podcast. Thomas, we do everything. I talk about everything. I talk about life. I talk about music. I talk about what's it called? Crypto, sports, you name it. We do it all here on the show. You know, it's hard to do 3 straight hours of, riveting sports talk that will keep you on the edge of your seat and all opinionated stuff. And remember, we don't necessarily do 30 minutes of talk in an hour. Okay. We actually talk a large portion of the show. You know what I'm saying? So we're not breaking for half hour of commercials in an hour, and we only have to do 30 minutes an hour. That's, a layup. So we are a multifaceted show, my man. Howard Stacks Johnson is in. Anthony Campos says, Big O, would you ever do a watch party at Sports Grill South Miami? Yeah, of course. We have some things in the works that we're trying to, we're trying to do some stuff that you never know. You might see me there for some reason or another. I'm just saying. So, yeah, there's a chance. Dougie Fresh says, oh, how many subscribers do we need to get you in order for you to wear that dope Culture Club shirt? It's not so much the subscribers. I already want to wear it. I just can't wear it because it's not big enough. I mean, because I'm too big for the shirt. I gained too much weight. That's my problem. So it's really not a matter of that. It's a matter of me losing the weight so I can then get into the Culture Club shirt. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I will provide the shirt, I promise you. It is close by. Timothy Zappa is in. Who's given the COVID test and results? Some doctor from Buffalo. Ray says, can the Finns sweep the offensive and defensive rookie of the year in the AFC with Waddle and Phillips? Yeah, well, I mean, Micah is the defensive rookie of the year. Is it yeah, no, that's right. It could be AFC defensive rookie of the year. Yeah, they got a shot. Yeah, they definitely have a shot because Micah's the best defensive rookie by miles. It's not even close. Jalen Phillips is nowhere even near that guy right now. Okay. And I love what Jalen Phillips is doing, obviously, but Micah is number one. But on the AFC side, yes, they have a shot. I mean, Waddle's about to, he's on pace to catch more balls than any rookie ever has. I'm so impressed with Waddle. It's crazy. What else? Ian from Brooklyn. They kicked the tires on Lamar Miller. Guess they saw his tank is pretty much empty. I mean, Lamar Miller is what he is. He's been a serviceable back in his life. It's not like he was ever anything special. He never was anything that some Canes fans thought he was going to be at the next level. Let's put it that way. Laces out. Is Watson there already? What the hell happened? I don't know what that means. George Albanese is in. Alejandro Gonzalez is in. Any news on Malcolm Brown? Why would you care about Malcolm Brown? George says, good morning, Big O. If we're going to lose Holland, I'm happy it's against the Jets. Consider it's an extra week off in order to rest the body and avoid hitting that rookie wall. You could be right. And they can beat him without Holland. Yes, you are right about that. Pedro says, Nico is the best metal drummer of all time, period. Breezy 305 says, what's up, Popple? Thank you, Breezy. Anthony says, morning, Big O. Dolphins and Greg Camarillo ready for this Sunday and Teddy Ginn Jr. Elmer Durand is in from Curaçao. Thank you, Elmer. Appreciate you. Xavion, oh, what happened to your spots with Kyle Krabs? Xavion, I can tell like you tuned in once or something to the show and never really tuned back again. I love them when people check in on something that's like months old. We talked about it a long time ago. Kyle Krabs agreed to do something with us, but Kyle did not know that his company had a deal with a national company, so he could not agree individually to a deal with us. He was not contractually allowed to do it. So he didn't realize that he made the mistake, and so we did not do it. We've had Kyle on a couple times, but I'm not going to bring him on every week when he is not part of our show and we're not paying him to be a part of it every week. I could bother him every week and he would do it. He would. Kyle's that cool of a dude and he's a nice guy, but I don't abuse friendships that way. You know what I mean? So because he had a deal, because his company had a deal with Odyssey, he could not commit to us on an every week basis. So, but we've had him on. We'll have him on again in the next couple of weeks. You know, we'll have him on a few times during the year, but he's not one of our insiders that is exclusive to us here, unfortunately. Okay. So there you go. Since you rarely ever really tune into the show, you're really not tuning in every day, Xavion, but we appreciate whenever you do tune in because that was something we talked about several times throughout when it happened. But clearly you weren't tuning in at that time. That's why you asked that question. Wear an Elvis outfit of the 70s. Well, I'm fat enough for it. That's for sure. Let's see. Big O, what bad Santa for a laugh? Watch Bad Santa for a laugh for the holidays. You know what? I do got to watch the whole thing for once. Big O will be in Chicago with worldwide Dolphin fan clubs next season. It's going to happen, Big O and Sean. Well, I would like for it to happen. What happened to running back Jared Dokes that we drafted? He had a pretty good preseason. Why isn't he being elevated and given a shot? They must not trust him, Nico. You know what I'm saying? They have played him a little bit, but they have not done enough, and that's maybe because he's a rookie and they're not trusting him to block. And, you know, you've already injured Tua once this year. Maybe you don't want to do it again. So that's the only thing I can think of that they don't trust him. Should we have taken Waddle over Micah? Micah and Phillips would be crazy combo. You know, Dusk 72, you know what's freaking hilarious about fans? You people are never happy, bro. Never happy. Ever. You know, all you do is bitch and complain about the front office. And I don't know whether you did or not, to be quite honest. Dust 72. I don't know if you did or not. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But it's funny, your response. I've gotten it from other Dolphin fans. And it's like, okay, so you hit on Holland, you hit on Phillips, and you hit on Waddle, and you still want more? You know, it's like, I think some of you are so ungrateful at times, and you're spoiled, and I don't even know why you would be spoiled as a Dolphin fan. I could see a Heat fan being spoiled, but a Dolphin fan shouldn't be spoiled or anything like that. But I find it kind of sad that you've had a monster draft, like a monster draft. I just mentioned that Waddle is on his way to catching more balls than any rookie ever has. And here's a dude that wants to get rid of him because he sees Micah playing. And everything's hindsight. That guy right there didn't even know who Micah was during the draft. Now he knows him. You know what I mean? But I've gotten this several times from some of you out there. I got it from Twitter the other day from another guy, and I said, oh, okay, so Phillips now is not good enough. Oh, no, I'm not saying that. What are you saying? What are you saying, Dust 72? Like, you're not freaking happy with what's going on? Because all you did was bitch and complain about the draft last year. So now the draft this year is a grand slam. And we got people that still want to like rig it like, well, wow, can you imagine if we would have gotten Phillips and Micah? So you're not happy with Phillips and Waddle. You do need a playmaking wide receiver. Like this dude is asking about another defensive player when none of your receivers are reliable except the guy you drafted. I mean, it's the shit that goes on at times with fans. It truly is amazing. And to be thinking that shit right there, well, wow, can you imagine if we would have had Micah and Phillips? But, dude, why don't you just imagine of having Waddle, Phillips, and Holland? Why don't you just stay in the moment and stop living in some effing fantasy like a 10-year-old? You had a monster draft. Be super happy you've got Jalen Waddle. Realize Devontae Parker has never been reliable. Will Fuller, I don't know what the hell Will Fuller is. I'm so close to insulting him in 80 different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like I am so close to unloading the P word on his ass. It's just like, get out of here, dude. And we got a guy that's worried about having another linebacker and not thinking like you do need a receiver. That was a great pick. And the kid would be even better if you had an offensive line and a running game. His numbers, I can't imagine Waddle's numbers with a line and a running back. It really is like effing amazing to be even worried about another draft pick at this point in time. Let's see, what else do we have here? D Donta, thank you for the love on the super chat. Big O, have you seen the Michigan State running back highlight reel? Sick. Is there running back in the draft you have in mind for the Dolphins? First of all, I don't know where the Dolphins are picking. I don't know who's coming out in the draft. I don't know what their injury history is. I don't know what their overall history is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So I'm not talking about draft now. I'm not thinking about the draft right now. So when we get to the point where we can start talking about the draft, we'll do that. But right now, it's ridiculous to talk about the draft right now. And yeah, I've seen the Michigan State running back, and I saw Michigan State tear up the Miami Hurricanes. You know what I'm saying? So I know it, but right now I'm not getting into the draft stuff. Let's talk what we're in right now, the regular season. Let's hope the Dolphins can win 6 in a row. It's all mental masturbation to talk about the draft when we have no information on any of these guys at this point in time. Rosendo says, I'm grateful in our team staying healthy and no prolonged injuries. I pray that our team is free from disease and life-threatening injuries. Everything else is secondary. Richard Saylor says, I think Greer and others have hit on the last 3 drafts after seeing the players' development. If Flores goes out and gets a great OC and O-line coach, do you think he can stay? I would keep him if he can get an offensive staff. If he can get me a quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator, and O-line coach, I'm good with Flores. I mean, he has a lot to he still has to learn how to get along with people. He can't challenge. He has to get better at challenging. I can deal with that, but if you can't build a staff, I have no use for Brian Flores. None. See, I'm not getting suckered by a 5-game winning streak. There's a portion of fans in our Dolphin Nation that haven't learned a damn thing from the past. And, some of you out there, well, no, he's a good coach. I mean, the team's responding. They've won 5 in a row. And it's like, so what, dude? Adam Gase won 10, and Sperano won 11, and Wanstead won 11 twice and 10 once. Big freaking deal. I've seen this kind of crap with other bad coaches over the last 20 years. Can you build a staff? That's what I want to know. You know what I mean? So I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. I'm not playing prisoner of the moment because of the 5-game winning streak. I'm well educated on what happened in this season and why you're in the hole you're in right now because of the 1-7 start and all the screw-ups that this coach has done. I mean, major screw-ups. He has ruined this season. The expectations we had, the sole reason why you never met any of these expectations is all on Brian Flores. Every single inch, ounce of everything in this season falls on Brian Flores. So I'm not falling for any of this stuff. I've seen this story before over and over and over again. Not falling for it. Let's see. Flo be starting slow says, remember, it's Waddle and an extra first and a third. That's a phenomenal selection, maybe legendary, depending on how Waddle develops. I'm with you, man. It's just, to me, it's just crazy to be trying to improve the draft. And it's so weak that now that you see Micah tear it up, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, can you imagine Mike and Phillips? It's like you play this fantasy game. Look, if your draft sucked, you know what I mean? And I heard a lot of that last year. Oh, this draft was terrible. This draft is horrible. This draft is this. This draft is phenomenal. And I still get people complaining. And now, by the way, those of you that were complaining about the draft last year, now you have to shut the hell up because the quarterback has developed, is in the process of developing, and has proven to everybody that has some knowledge of football that he's not the problem, never was the problem. He's overcome all these bums that are around his ass. And Raekwon Davis has developed nicely, and so has Brandon Jones already. So whatever else you start getting from that draft becomes absolute gravy. So complain about the draft when you got something to complain about. But Micah over Jalen Waddle, can you imagine? I mean, dude, that's some weak-ass sauce. G-Firm says, Use landing Hollins was good fortune because we wanted Javonte Williams, running back from North Carolina, before Denver jumped us and took him. Yeah. And maybe they weren't taking Javonte anyways. Maybe they were taking Holland right from the get-go anyways. So who knows? None of us really know what the hell is going on there. Chris L says, I agree. Flo screwed up building an offensive staff, but if we had a good O-line, would you be saying the same thing? If I had wheels, I'd be a bicycle. Dude, the if game. I just went through this with the guy before. What are we, 10 years old? If what? No. We live in reality, Chris. Let's not talk about fantasy. The reality is that the head coach has made 7 changes on your offensive coordinator and offensive line positions. Okay? That's the reality, my brother. Let's stop with fantasy. Oh, if we had an O-line coach. Oh, if we had an offensive coordinator. Oh, if we had a QB coach. No. Let's stay in the reality that he's made 7 changes in 3 seasons, my friend. Okay? Let's not be 10 years old and sit on the sidewalk and we're, waiting for the ice cream truck and we're all putting oil on our gloves to, loosen up the glove, and then we're all dreaming about, well, what if we played in the majors? What if I was Nat Moore? Okay? Let's stop with fantasy. Okay? The reality is he can't keep a coach. The reality is he can't find a coach. So by playing that fantasy, Chris, well, you wouldn't be saying that if you had an O-line coach. Let's stay in reality. Okay? You got some nursery music there, Sean? Because apparently we got kids that want to play in the monkey bars. No? You sure? You don't have that? You don't want to play a little London Bridge is Falling Down? Because we got a bunch of men that want to be 10-year-olds.
I'm afraid to play anything because YouTube copyright.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. Let me rest the voice. Do me a favor. Give me 30 seconds here on the Big O Radio Show.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
All righty. Thank you. Appreciate all of you out there, as always. Chris Sell goes, we do need an O-line. Bro, they need an O-line coach. They need an offensive coordinator, and they need a QB coach. They don't have any of those. Okay? Tua is excelling in spite of the people around him. Well, we got to, some of us, we got to grow up, and we got to stay in reality. Okay? Let's do that. Let's stay in effing reality. Reality is tough enough as it is. Living in fantasies doesn't get us anywhere. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Blues Clues. Yeah, exactly. That's what we need. Dean Brown says reality is Tua is not good enough, and there's way better out there, and we have to we have the capital to get it. I'm just glad, Dean, that you have nothing to do with the front office. That's all. I'm glad. That's the part of that's the reality is that I'm glad that you're not in the front office. Can we stay in reality that Austin Jackson has been horrible when on the field instead of fantasy? He might be good with better coaching. Maybe, but he doesn't have the better coaching right now. So he's been horrible. And he's probably lost confidence. And he probably needs a coach to lift it up if he's salvageable. I don't even know. I don't know. See, the problem is you end up with David Carr. And David Carr is Derek's older brother who got drafted by the Texans and took an absolute beating. So I think it was 70 sacks his rookie year, and second year he took another beating, and eventually he took such a beating that he lost his mojo, lost his confidence, and he's done. And my friends, Austin Jackson's going through 2 years of no O-line coach. So you got to watch out that you don't ruin this talent. I don't know if he can play or not, but if you keep him around like this and failing, there's no way we'll ever find out if he could have been good. Because I still say to this day, maybe David Carr could have been a pretty good quarterback. I don't know about a Hall of Famer or a Pro Bowler or whatever, but he might have been a pretty good quarterback. But we never found out because he never had the environment to excel. He had an environment where he lost constantly. And then you lose your confidence, and then obviously you never become the player that you could become. And that's the sad part. And that's the part that with the Dolphins offensive line, they continue to fail, and people continue to write about how bad they are, and people continue to ask about how bad they are, and people continue to post the rankings on how terrible they are and all this stuff. That doesn't help you. That's never going to make you a better player. But meanwhile, we watch players that have not excelled here, and then they leave and they become better players somewhere else. That's why while I'm watching all the other players develop and all of a sudden the line isn't developing, that tells me that there's something wrong with the coaching. Because everywhere else they're developing except in that area. And people in the building, listen to me, people in the building of the Miami Dolphins organization, they know they have a terrible offensive line coach. Okay? I'm telling you that, and it's a fact. In that building, they look at the offensive line coach and they go, okay? There are people that will tell you, I can't even say anything anymore about that. That's how they'll answer you. That's how bad it is, that it's to a point, it's like clubbing seals. Okay, it's already beaten down. Everybody knows it is such a terrible situation. We can't do anything about it. He won't. He'll be gone at the end of the year. There's no way Flo keeps him. Flo will lose his job. You know what I mean? I mean, he should lose his job anyway, but whatever, Flo staying will prove O wrong. It won't prove me wrong. It'll just get everybody else fired. That's all. I've seen this story before, dude. So they want to keep Flo. It's going to cost them their job. He's already proven for 3 years. So, here's Chris L is part of the morons. Last year, O thought it was amazing. Right. So, Chris L is the moron that gets married to the chick that cheats on him, but he stays with her. Chris L is the guy that takes a job and things are going well for 6 months, but then all of a sudden you find out your boss is a jerk, your company's cheap, this and that, but he'll stay there. You know what I mean? After you've gathered more information, like I loved Manny Diaz. After the first year, I didn't like Manny Diaz anymore. I said he was no good. You gather information and you're out, right? Adam Gase. I liked the hire when they made it because, he was known as an offensive mind, the Peyton Manning stuff. Okay. After the first year, loved it. After the second year, I was done. I think it was like midway through the second year. I kind of saw what phoniness he was and I was out. Chris L is, unfortunately, Chris, you're not very bright. You're not a person that actually assesses things as they're going along. You just blindly continue to follow. So you're the guy that, when Joe Philbin wins a meaningless game against Minnesota, you're all right with re-signing him like the owner did. I get it, my brother. You're not a very intelligent guy. Once you make a mistake, you continue to make a mistake. The difference between you and me is I assess the issue and then I say, okay, is this good moving forward? No, I'm out. And I'm out on Flo. Can't build a staff. And I've learned that already. But I get it, Chris. You're not really bright. You don't really understand actually the intelligence of taking in information and then assessing what you're deciding on. And then you say, did I make the right decision or not? And in this case, it's not the right decision to stay with the guy that can't build a staff, but you can't see that. So, been a fan as long as you owe. I don't care how long you've been a fan, my brother. You're not very bright. You're not smart. What you're saying, Chris, is that after the first year that I didn't like Manny, I'm supposed to say, no, I'm staying with Manny Diaz. Manny Diaz is a good coach. No. After this first year, I saw a disaster on organization. It's a team that just is not ever ready to play week in and week out. No, but I got to stay on there. I got to still think that Manny's great. That's what Chris L wants me to do. He wants all of you out there that once you've made a bad decision to stay with the bad decision. So Adam Gase, they should have never fired him. According to Chris L, they should never fire Manny Diaz. In Chris's life, there is no reassessment of anything. It's pile on, bro. Move forward, baby. Oh, we screwed up. We're going to die. This river ends. There's a falls after. Doesn't matter. Keep going. That's Chris L. Chris L is convinced that that's the right way to go. So he's going to go right over the falls. It doesn't matter. Even though it's been reassessed, they took the wrong turn at the fork and they went to the wrong side of the river, and that river ends in a falls. But no, not Chris L. No. He wants to go right over the falls and drown and die in death. That's it. Just drown, baby. That's Chris L. Way to go. Like changing coaches over and over. I mean, what are you going to do, my brother? What are you going to do? You got to change coaches, right? Eventually you'll figure it out and you'll find the right one. What do? Do you stay with Dale Talon? Huh? But by the way, I was the first guy in town to say Dale Talon's got to go. You know why, Chris L? Because I reassessed the situation. And while everybody was hanging on Dale Talon's jock about everything he did in Chicago, I'm the first guy in town that said, yo, wait a minute. This guy's done nothing for years. He's been terrible. Yeah, he made a couple picks early on, and that's it. But after that, it's over. He hasn't done anything. And then everybody got on my bandwagon, including the owners, and they fired Dale Talon. Do you know why, Chris? Because I reassessed the situation. That's the difference, my brother. See what I'm saying? A lot of people wanted Chris Greer fired, right? Boy, now they've all actually turned. You know why? Because they probably reassessed it and they noticed that they were wrong. It's the reverse of it, Chris L. That also happens too. You reassess it and you're wrong. You think the University of Miami is not going to spend. They do it, you reassess it, you see, you're wrong. They're going to spend. So sometimes it happens, my brother. You have to look at things. They change. You might vote for a president that you might think might be good. But then as time goes on, Chris, and that term is over, and he's a bad president, do you vote again for that president? No, you reassess, right? And you say, no, I think we're going to go in another direction. Big O, is it possible that Greer can have a heavier role in selection of coordinators on offense? Dieter, Hunt, and Kinley seem to have some hope. Thanks for the great show. Chris, they already tried that. He gave the coach Changeli, bro. He helped them get an offensive coordinator. Mind you, it's a coordinator that produced the most points since the Marino era. So the front office assisted the head coach with the coordinator. And you know what happened, Chris? I guess I got to repeat this all the time. You know, the coordinator told him last year that Tua was not ready yet. But Flo was dead set on playing Tua. So Flo played Tua against the Rams, who then went on to get slammed to the ground by Michael Brockers, who then later on we found out that Tua even admitted, man, I didn't know the offense that well. And I wonder, Chris, who's in the meeting rooms constantly with Tua? Who's on the practice field constantly with Tua? I think it's Chan Gailey, right? So if Chan Gailey tells the coach the kid's not ready and the coach wants to do whatever the hell he wants, and now Chan Gailey's not here anymore, my brother. You do the math. By the way, the front office also got him Fitz. He wanted Jacoby Brissett. He wants the Three Stooges at offensive coordinator. So some of you have to actually understand what's going on. Watch what's going on. It's happening like right in front of your eyes. I know Chris L doesn't reassess anything in life. He is good with making terrible decisions and staying with terrible decisions. Okay? Sometimes you make a bad decision. You got to walk. We're all going to make bad decisions. Lord knows I've made them. But the smartest thing you do is get out of a bad decision. You have to assess it. So, that's kind of the way it is, Chris L. He's not good at that. Chris L's bad at that. The Rams game was after the bye. The Rams game. Let's see. What do we have here? Either way, whether it was or wasn't, as I said, the coordinator told him he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. And he still played him. You tell me how that makes any sense. If you have a coordinator that has a lot of experience, which we all know that obviously Chan Gailey's got a ton of experience, why would you not listen to the guy that actually tells you that the guy's not ready? You tell me. Why would you not do that? Why would you not listen to the guy that tells you that if he's not ready? What do you have, 93 yards passing? 93 yards passing. They won, but he took a beating, and he passed for, what was it? 12 of 22, 93 yards and a touchdown. So, not ready, and you play him. And then he tells you after, I didn't know the playbook. Well, I know. The offensive coordinator knew that. He tried to tell the head coach that he wasn't ready. Let's see. What do we got here? Big Bob, crypto in the crapper. Big Bob, I'm telling you, my brother, you need to get out of crypto. You're a whiny little bitch. You're just a whiny little bitch. This is called consolidation. Here's where you buy, Big Bob. Okay? Here's where you buy. That's it. The problem is you have very unrealistic expectations. You think this is digging for oil and that you bought it and then immediately you're going to get rich right away. And you have no patience. All you do is whine and complain like a little bitch. Get out of crypto, bro. Seriously. You're not made for crypto. You don't have los cojones. All right? And you shouldn't call yourself Big Bob. You got nothing big, bro. Nothing. There's nothing big about you. You're small in all your comments. Always whining and complaining. Man, I got to tell you. Do your homework, my brother. Do your homework. Who cares about the Rams game? And there's nothing to do with the facts that we're about to get back to 500 after starting out 1-7. Okay, that's fine. Rams game was post-bye week last year, week 8 or something. It doesn't matter what it was. Either way, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. And weren't they winning, by the way? I got to look at that too. You forget about shit. Yeah, they had won 2 in a row. They beat the Jets 24-0, and they beat San Francisco 43-17. Fitzpatrick had thrown 350 yards. He lost to the Seattle Seahawks the week before, throwing 315 yards. So he wasn't playing bad, and then they make the change. Think about that. It's kind of weird. So Fitzpatrick is playing well and winning, and you now want to go to the rookie. The good thing is he did play well in that Arizona game. That Arizona game, that was one of my favorite games to watch him so far in his short career. That throw he made opposite of Patrick Peterson on the right hash. Oh man, that's a throw that only maybe 5 guys in the NFL can make. Maybe 5 guys. I'm serious. Dead serious. That throw he made in that Zona game on the right hash, where he kept it to the right side opposite of the DB, which was Peterson, and that ball was thrown with anticipation that it's where he knew the player would be. I mean, that was just one of the sickest throws I've seen. But, of course, it's not at 100 miles an hour, so it's not impressive by Tua. I buy the dip every day, buddy. Well, then why you complain like a little bitch? That's what you should be saying, Big Bob. It's not crypto's going to crap, saying I'm taking advantage of the dip. ADA fell to 123, 125. I took advantage. Monero's at 183. I took advantage. Bitcoin's in the 47,000 range. I took advantage. That's what you're supposed to say, mofo. Star Atlas is down to 11, 12 cents. I took advantage. Ethereum under 4,000. I took advantage. That's what you're supposed to say, Big Bob, because those of us that actually know what the hell we're doing, that's what we're saying. We're allowing everybody else to panic that doesn't know jack crap, because that's what you sound like, Big Bob. So if you're buying the dip, then don't act like a bitch. Ken Rosa. The question comes every other day. Big O, which crypto would you put 1,000 on right now? Let's do it again. Are we ready, folks? All right, here we go. Ken, this is what I would do, okay? Not a financial advisor, but if I had $100, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, here's what I would do. 40% of it, I'd put it in Bitcoin right now. 30% of it, I'd put it in Ethereum. 10%, I'd put in Polkadot. 10%, I'd put in Cardano. And I'd put in VeChain. Done. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't move it. Don't do anything. Unless there's other dips, you add to it, and that's it. Let it sit. Leave it alone, and it's going to grow on its own. Boom. You're done. Okay? That's what I would do. 40% on Bitcoin, 30% on Ethereum, and then 10, 10, and 10. And you can do all kinds of combinations. Polkadot, Cardano, VeChain, Avalanche, Polygon's a little down right now, and not as down as I would like it, but okay. If you want to put it in Polygon right now, Polygon's a little better buy a couple weeks back. There's a couple. Let me see. There's a couple of other ones. That 10, 10, and 10, I would let me see, what else could you Polygon, Polkadot, Cardano, VeChain, Avalanche. What else would I put? Solana has dipped enough. It's at 161. I think that 10% you can put into Solana right now. I think it would be a really good buy. Algorand at 138, I think, has gone down enough that you can put 10% into Algorand. Let's see what else would be a really good buy right now. Sandbox. I would put 10% in Sandbox. I got no problem with that. Phantom is not bad also to put the 10% in. So there's a couple of different ones that you can move around at the 10%. Those are some that I would, but 40 in Bitcoin, 30 in Ethereum. So that way 70 of it is in the two top dogs that are just going to grow forever. So stick with that. And then the other ones I think have a lot of potential that you can enjoy good gains. But this is that's a good portfolio for a novice. So you don't have to do a lot of work. You don't have to do a lot of thinking. Those are ones that you can just ride it. Whether you have $100, whether you have 500, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you can afford, that's the kind of stuff that I would do. Okay. And if there's any dips after that on those, you buy the dip. You keep buying the dip so you lower the price that you own it at overall. So that way, as it goes up, you're going to make even more money. Okay. It was a mistake to put 2 in, but we beat the Rams, Cardinals, and got in a shootout with KC. We went on a huge run when we put in 2 of the D started balling when we stopped turning the ball over. Yeah, well, of course, you don't turn over the ball, you start balling, but you were winning with Fitz at that moment. And the OC told the head coach he wasn't ready. And the quarterback at the end of the year told you, yeah, I didn't really know the playbook that well. Why would you start him? You know what I mean? He's off of hip surgery. He needs rest. He needs rehab. You put him at risk. It wasn't even a year removed from it. There was no hurry to put him in there. Whatever, man. He's not a fan of Tua. Tua's had to win him over. Okay. Let's see. Ross Romero says, as far as him being a starter, we just don't feel like he's ready yet. Flores said via Hal Habib of the Palm Beach Post. Yeah, whatever. Flo better get rid of Jean-Pierre. The guy is clueless at coaching the O-line. Well, Jean-Pierre will then get Flo fired and get Chris Greer fired. It's pretty simple. And by the way, where's the guarantee Flo's going to find those coaches next year? Carla Williams says, you don't call grown men 10 years old and want listeners. Go to TD Finn's talk. Carla, listen, I'm sorry, but this is adult talk here. Okay. And I don't play the game of, well, can you imagine if we got Micah over Waddle? So if you're really ultra sensitive, Carla, this is not the place for you. Okay. If you want to go somewhere where they just want to handle you with kid gloves and pom-poms and all that, this is not the show, Carla. It's never been the show for 31 years. I've never been that person. I don't intend on being that person whatsoever. Okay. And I take plenty of shots at myself all the time. All right. But we don't play the what if games here. We're not 10 years old here. So we gotta, we're supposed to be grown adults here. Right. So let's not play the what if game here. Well, what if we did this? So what if they had an OC? And what if, what if we had 8 more, Lombardi trophies in the lobby over there for the Dolphins? That would be fantastic, right? Yeah. Let's take our thumbs out of our mouth and let's grow up a little bit. Let's see. You should have to win over your boss. Yeah, not really. If you drafted them, that means they won you over. Once you drafted them, that means you believe in them. So you're there to support them. You're not there to kind of, not give them what they need in order to succeed. That's kind of counterproductive. You know what I'm saying? I get it if you're a walk-on, in college, or you're a street free agent, yeah, you gotta earn, because you're barely on the roster. But when you're the number 5 overall pick, I think you want them over. I think you're saying, we love you, now let's help you grow. I mean, when you have does your son or daughter have to win you over? No, right? You gave birth to them, right? So now that they're in this world, now you love and support them and help them grow as human beings, correct? Well, if you drafted somebody at number 5 overall or in the 2nd or 3rd rounds, you must love them. They won you over. So your job now as a head coach, a general manager, an assistant coach, whatever it is, a quality control coach, you selected this person. You wanted them. Now you've got to help them grow as people, as players. That's kind of the trick, my man. You know what I'm saying? Who would Flo get if he fires anyone? His job's hanging on the mediocre thread. That's what I'm saying. That's why I've been through this movie before. That's why I would make a change. George says, here it is. 40% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum, 10% Polkadot, 10% Cardano, 10% VeChain. The 10% ones can be switched around. Thank you, Big O. Exactly. There's a couple of, good ones that you can switch around for the 10%, but I want your money. Well, I would want my money controlled, the main part of it, by the 2 biggest coins that are, they're the Amazons and the Teslas of crypto right now. They're going to just soar, So yeah, you read it right there, George. Let's see, what else do we have? David Williams says Mana. I love Mana, but Mana's made such a climb already. Although it came back a little bit. So you're right. It is a dip right now to get in it. But I think Cardano at, in the 120s right now where it's at is just an absolute steal. VeChain is somewhere I believe it's still in the 8-cent range, right? It was 7-8 cents, which, if I didn't have so much VeChain, I would probably get more VeChain. It's at 8 cents right now, which I think is just an absolute steal, man. Just a monster. Once it goes back to 25 cents, you're going to triple your money right there, or double your money, that is. But yeah. Let's see. What else do we have here? Big O, will you be doing Dolphins NFL mock drafts for the upcoming draft? Ken, I don't ever do the mock drafts. I used to do them in the early QAM days because they made me do them. They asked me to do them. I don't like doing mock drafts because drafts change, too many trades. So it's hard to think like 32 people. So I'll do it live during the draft is what I'll do. And that way I get a better feel for who's off the board, who's next, I actually know who the next pick is, who's available, all of those kind of things. So, no, I normally don't do mocks. Alexander is in. David Williams, Nyborg. Oh, you know what? Hour number 1 is done. Let's take a break. Hour number 2 is next.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoRadioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Welcome aboard. Hour number 2 is way in already. Appreciate it. David Williams talking about the 1-inch network. Yeah, I love the logo, by the way, with the horse. It's actually a really nice logo. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate it. He got their asses kicked last night by the Cavs. It's hard to win, man, when Hero goes 6 of 15, Strus goes 0 of 4, Duncan went 1 of 7. These guys have got to play better. Lowry did his job. Tucker played out of his mind yesterday with 23 points, 5 of 8 from three-point range. But on a night where you have no Jimmy, no Bam, and, Markieff, whatever. I mean, Markieff helps off the bench, but it's not like something that, oh, my God, you're really missing in a big-time way. But last night, just not a good performance. I'll say this. I went to go get some tacos over at Chipotle, and I put on the radio, and I heard Zaz do the game. I thought he did an actually good job, man, because I guess Jason is on COVID. So I put on the game because I went at halftime. So I was hearing like the end of the last minute of the game, a minute of the first half. I got in and heard Zaz do the show, do the play-by-play. I thought he did a nice job overall with it. But unfortunately, the Heat did not get it done tonight. They're taking on the Sixers at 7 o'clock. So we'll see if the boys can bounce back and win tonight. But Lowry, Duncan, Hero, and Strus have got to play a hell of a lot better than they did last night, man. They better shoot better than what they did yesterday, because that was crap. Panthers back in action tonight at the Florida Live Arena, or the FLA Live Arena, 7 o'clock. Senators and Panthers. This should be, I'm not going to say an easy one, but they're better than the Senators, okay? I mean, give me a break, okay? The Senators are 8-16-4, so let's go. Get it done, baby. Get it done against those crappy Senators tonight. Remember, 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the program, that's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the program, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. Big O Show on Twitter, on email, Big O Radio Show. Remember, you can make a donation to the program at any time, and that is at Cash App and Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. There you go. Timothy Zappa says, "Go Sixers." Sorry, boys. Dr. J was my hero. Dr. J was my hero too. I got a 6-foot poster right there of Dr. J in a Sixers uniform. I was a Sixers fan until we got the Heat. I'm a hometown guy, so I only root for the hometown. So now it's screw the Sixers. By the way, proud sponsor of our program is Sloman's Home Security. And folks, right now you can call 1-800-ALARM-ME and you will get a free doorbell camera. That is right, folks. Free home security and professional installation when you use their low-cost station monitoring system. How would you like a free doorbell, folks? Well, right now, the first 40 Big O listeners who dial 1-800-ALARM-ME will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera. It connects directly to your smartphone. And folks, that's not all. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you get an LED touchscreen pad, that is an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 Big O listeners right now, call 1-800-ALARM-ME and you'll receive a free doorbell alarm camera. So check it out, folks. It is great. You're going to love it. I love being able to keep up with everything. You know what I mean? Front yard, backyard, doorbell, all that kind of stuff. So call Sloman's Home Security and tell them, of course, that Big O sent you. 1-800-ALARM-ME. If you go to our Twitter page, we have a tweet there. You can hit that link, and that'll lead you directly to it. But if you call 1-800-ALARM-ME, you will get it there also. Okay? So there you go. It's a beautiful thing. And thanks to the great people at Sloman's for being a proud sponsor of our program. All right, what else do we have here that I want to talk about? See, Dola says, saw Dr. J at the Hard Rock playing slots by himself about 3 years ago, LOL. We had Dr. J in town. You guys, but the game that tested us, which is kind of a BS test, but whatever. The NBA, the Major League Baseball did it too. We had a Yankees-Orioles game at Joe Robbie before we got the Marlins. Well, the NBA wanted to give us an NBA game to see if we would support it. And they brought the Sixers and the Nets down. And Doc was with the Sixers. And actually, Daryl Dawkins was with the Nets, not with the Sixers at that time. He had already left the Sixers, in those years, and he was with the Nets. So it was one of those deals, and it was at the James L. Knight Center. I still have the ticket to that game, actually. I have my what is it? Is it Bass Outlet? I think it's a Bass Outlet ticket to that game. Yep, that was the test. And we went to that game that night. I saw Doc anyway at the Spectrum because I was a big Sixers fan. So when we would go to Philadelphia, my dad would buy trucks up in the Northeast. And we used to go to Philly all the time when I was a kid. That's how I became a Flyers, Sixers, and Phillies fan. Those are my 3 teams because I didn't have baseball, hockey, and basketball growing up here. I only had the Dolphins, and then I got the Strikers for a little bit, and then they were done too. So that's all I had down here as a sports fan. So I became a Sixers, Phillies, and Flyers fan, and then I dropped them as we added our own teams. Our Heat, our Marlins, and our Panthers, obviously. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Big O, what do you like better, Chipotle or Pollo Tropical? I say Pollo. Oh, Chipotle. Every day of the week and twice on Sundays. I like Pollo Tropical, don't get me wrong, but I'll take Chipotle. I pretty much can eat Chipotle every day of the week, dude. Big O, do you know who the assistant O-line coach is? Yeah, he's Sean Flattery, I believe, is the guy. Lampure was Lampure or whatever. Pepe Le Pew, I know, was an assistant with the Raiders, and Flattery is his assistant O-line coach. And the best part about Flattery was he's here as an assistant the last couple of years. But you know where he came from? He was a graduate assistant at NC State. He wasn't the offensive coordinator of NC State. No. He was a graduate assistant. So yes. I had a Cuban sandwich at Hard Rock at Pollo Tropical. Best I ever had. Where do you go for your Cuban sandwiches? God, that's a good one, man. Isla Canarias does a great job. So I like that. I do like it's God, what's it called? The one on it's on Coral Way. Is it Latin America? Yes, the original Latin American on Coral Way. The dude that does all the knife stuff and all that, and they do a really good job with their sandwiches there. I like them. So there you go. Those are a couple places. We are the most underrated team in the AFC. Haven't thought of that. We have no running backs, and Holland is out too. With this being a divisional game, I'm actually kind of worried. You should always be worried because it's a Jet game, and it's a divisional game, and the divisional games are just so unpredictable at times, man. That's the problem. So you got to take it serious, and I think the boys will be fine. I think they'll get it done. Adam says, God, I remember seeing WWE matches and UM basketball games at the James L. Knight Center in the 80s. I'm with you with the basketball, not WWE. Maybe that's Sean. Maybe Sean did some WWE at the James L. Knight Center. I never did any of that. Sean's giving me all kinds of thumbs up, so he has. Not mine, not me. That's true. Nelson says the Spectrum. Wow. Yeah. Nowadays, you just think about it historically that I went, but it was a dump, overall compared to the things we go to nowadays. 90 miles from Cuba says 10 years ago at Hard Rock Casino, I'm at the bar and Dennis Rodman was next to me. Super cool. Hours later, I'm at Scarlett's and there is Rodman again. Bought me a drink, was throwing ones with him. Good times. Yeah, I'm sure that guy has had plenty good times. La Granja all day. Oh, I've never eaten there. I've seen that place all over the place, and I've never eaten at La Granja. Never have. I was watching the Bucks and the Bills and saw both of those teams' coaching staffs and started to cry. Flo never got that quality coaching staff and never will. Sarusi's on 8th Street. How is Sarusi's on 8th? Man, I haven't eaten at Sarusi's on 8th Street in forever. I think doesn't a Russian dude own that now? Like somebody told me that it was like a Russian owner of Sarusi's on 8th Street. The Bird Road one is exceptional. Okay? And the Bird Road one, I don't know if you guys know this, but the woman that owns the Bird Road one, she's the oldest employee in the Sarusi family. Okay? And the original owner is the one that sold her that Sarusi's. And so she's actually she's the oldest employee in any of the Sarusi's that are still around. And so she has the hook with the secret sauce. So I'm just telling you, if you go to a Sarusi's, I can vouch for the one on Bird Road. Bird and 89th. Amazing. Great place. Great family too. Great people. They're really, really good people. Like you feel good supporting human beings like that because they are a very good, hardworking, loving family. They take that place serious. They have a lot of pride in what they do. I've worked with them in the past, and I got nothing but good things to say about the fantastic people that run Sarusi's on Bird Road and 89th. That one I can speak for. Big O, he is a Pat Flattery son. The guy Flo fired. I mean, whatever, bro. I don't know. All I know is that our offense is just mediocre, period. How it's coached, how it's run, the offensive line. I don't think Tua has any help there whatsoever. I think Tua looks and prays that he had his Alabama staff here. That's what I think. Big Bob says, I played roulette with Dr. J and Mendy Rudolph back in the 70s. Nice job by you, Big Bob. Better than whining about crypto. See, I like that, Big Bob. Now, Big Bob, if it ever gets down to like Bitcoin's at $8,000, then we can whine. Both of us will be whining and complaining. But right now, these dips, nothing. Nothing. Not worried. Not worried. Let's see. COVID is hurting the locker room bad right now. Hopefully it's just Holland and the DB room. It could get really bad. Well, hey, man, get your shots, get your booster, and hopefully, and still try to maintain a distance. Wash your hands constantly. Still do the same things you were doing before. We had a vaccine and not the way to get it around the world back in the early 1900s with polio, and it still took decades to get rid of polio. Are you listening to me? It took decades to get rid of polio with a vaccine. Now we have our resources around the world are better, but yet we still have many countries that they don't have the resources, or like Russia, they're freaking ignorant. 70% of those freaking morons don't take the vaccine. They're anti-vaccine. 70%. That's why those morons have a shutdown of their country now. They're idiots. So as long as you have that, you know what I mean? And then wherever you have countries that don't have a high percentage of vaccinated people like we do, you're going to have the virus live and then breed into other, different viruses like the Omicron now that we've got going on. So all of that stuff, we still all have to vaccinate. We still all have to try to keep our distance. We still all can't be breathing on each other. You know what I mean? And if you can wear a mask, then do it. But it's going to take us a while till we get the world vaccinated to the point that we can actually like really crush it. Because this Omicron started in one country and then it spread out. And why? Because those people are traveling. So they're carrying the virus all over the place and then they're planting it on everybody else. And then it continues to spread. And it's like that stupid shampoo commercial when we were kids. Was it Breck or something? Told one person and so on and so on and so on. And this is what we have. So we just got to be diligent about all of this and stay smart about it. Don't get irresponsible and we'll be fine. But eventually we'll overcome all this crap. Let's see. Oh, what do you think about the tornado outbreak that happened on Friday? The meteorologist in me was very upset, especially after seeing the devastation in Kentucky. Damage looks like Andrew, worse than Andrew at times. Dude, just my heart just, falls to the ground and worrying about all those people that lost their lives. The Amazon warehouse where there were, what is it, like 40 something, 50 something people working. And, what was it, like 6 or 7 died there, several injured. It's just scary, man. Scary. And just like anybody else, you pray, you hope for the best. You're helpless, right? That's the worst part about it, actually. You can make a donation, which I did. I hope some of you also did the same thing, to make a donation. It's all you can do right now. You'd love to, hug those people and help them and shelter them and help them get back on track. But I can't imagine what it's like to lose everything. And then what if you lost loved ones too in the process? Because if you lose your home and it gets destroyed, it's devastating. If you have insurance, you can replace it. Maybe you can't replace your personal items, obviously, that you lose. But if you lose a human being, that's what you cannot replace ever again. And so I can't imagine, my brother. Derek, I felt the same way everybody else did. Just shockingly sad, surprised, because we're watching things in this world that we've never seen before. and that run of tornadoes that we just saw through, what was it, 6, 7, 8 states or something? We've never seen a run of tornadoes like that. And that one tornado that went on forever, like it's never been done in the history of Kentucky. You do know that it's snowing more in Hawaii than Denver. Let me repeat that again. It snows more in Hawaii than Denver. Our rivers, our lakes are drying up out west. They're still not getting the snowfall that they need in order to recover from what the devastation that they've had. We have the fires, tornadoes, we've got hurricanes. If you don't believe global warming is taking effect, I have got no hope for you whatsoever. Okay? So it's not getting any better. It's only getting worse. That's the weird part. We got tornadoes. I mean, we got hurricanes now that are hitting the Northeast, dude. That's weird. They're not supposed to make it all the way up there. You're not supposed to have snowstorms, 60, 70 mile an hour blizzards at the top of Hawaiian mountains. What the F is that, dude? It's not going to get any better. Things are only going to get worse. Okay? And it's if you live on the East Coast, if you live on the West Coast, if you live in the middle corridor of the country, all right? It's almost like you're locked in to earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, and all kinds of droughts and fires and all. The only people that are going to be safe are the people in the Michigan area, in Minnesota, up in the northern part of the Midwest. That's the area that all they get there are snowstorms. That's the worst that they're going to get, but they don't get the earthquakes, they don't get the tornadoes, they don't get the hurricanes, they don't have the droughts. That's going to be for the next 50 to 100 years. That's going to be the safest part of the country to live in. Places like Duluth, Minnesota, and Madison, Wisconsin, and places like that are going to become the havens for a lot of Americans that are going to sell their properties and move from here, from the Northeast, from the West, from the Midwest. You're going to watch from the southern part of the Midwest. You're going to watch a lot of people move up to that area, because just look at our map of damage when it comes to natural disasters, and it doesn't happen in that top middle corridor of our country. That's the safest spot. And because over the next 50 to 100 years, the earth warms, the blizzards are going to be less. They're not going to be as bad down the line. So even living in those cold areas, they're not going to be as cold as they used to be. All your kids, they're better off moving into that part of the world or of our country. Like my daughter should not buy a home. I already told her, don't buy a home here. Don't buy a home here. This place is going to be underwater for you. Sad. So, Chris L, Florida will be underwater. Wow, Chris L, you got it right. Yep. I've already had that conversation with my daughter. I told her, don't buy a home here. You rent and you get your career going and then get the hell out of here, because you're going to have to, go somewhere else eventually. Sad, but yeah, look at it. Just look at the map. Look at the map of natural destruction, and those folks, any of you that are watching this show and you're up in that part that I'm talking about, you're in the safest area. It's funny that all the people, we have people that move to us, right? That's going to change. That trend will change in the next 5 to 10 years. You're going to start seeing more and more people move out. So yeah, Asheville's not a bad place either in the western part of North Carolina, because it's up in the mountains. So you don't have the floods, you don't get the tornadoes, the hurricanes don't get to you, you don't have earthquakes. So, areas like that are not too bad. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's stuff that you know I'm sorry, what was that one guy? Hey, does this show turn into crypto? And I'm like, well, we talk about everything. So I just went into another tangent about something else. I'm sure some of you are like, wait a minute, is this a sports show or what's the deal? All right, let's talk a little Miami Hurricanes with Manny Navarro and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
There you go. Make sure you invest in a little polka dot. All righty, Mr. Navarro. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Doing good yourself, oh. How's everything going?
Everything's good, bro. Can't complain. Everything's moving. Show's moving. Show's growing. So it's all good. We'll hopefully announce an addition to the family of insiders. It's growing more and more, actually. We're going to have a very interesting partner joining us. Hopefully, we'll announce it either this week or next week. We'll be able to do that, but it's going to be very good. Jose says, Big O, you just got me all depressed. Bro, I'm just telling you reality. You do know that, right? You know that, right, Manny, that your kids should not buy property here, right? You know that, right? You know that we're going to be underwater for their lifetime, unfortunately.
Yeah, my girls are, we've done a little traveling with them. I think they want to live up in the mountains in Georgia or Tennessee. They like that area. That's where we go on family vacations, and they prefer that landscape.
Go west. Stay away from the coast.
Okay.
I'm just saying, bro, hurricanes are just going to – no, seriously, hurricanes are going more north now, and they're all getting hit on the coast. And so – like I've looked at Asheville, North Carolina, very nice place. It's up in the mountains. So you don't get the tornadoes. You don't get the hurricanes because it's in the western part of North Carolina. You don't get floods because you're up in the mountains. So it's like one of those kind of, you got to watch. Like I was just talking about this. You look at our map, the East Coast gets all the storms, right? The West Coast has all the fires. And they have their share of storms too. The middle part of the country gets all the tornadoes, and you have earthquakes too. You go up to the northern part of the Midwest, Minnesota, Michigan, all those areas, all they get is snow. They get no tornadoes, no earthquakes, no hurricanes, no droughts, no fires. How about that?
Better place to live.
Isn't it crazy? Like everybody moved here. The next 20 to 30 years, everybody's going to be moving out of here is what's going to end up happening.
Besides the fact that everything is so damn expensive, right?
Well, yeah, that doesn't help either. But yeah, once it's underwater, it doesn't matter how expensive it is. Right. You can't live here anymore. You got to get the hell out. I've had that conversation with my daughter, and she's like, yeah, I'm not buying anything here. Because for her lifetime, it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? Because your house will be underwater in 30, 40 years. What are you going to do? Invest in a house that, you and I, we don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Although our
Nope.
caskets are going to be floating in the ocean.
They
Did you ever
will.
think about that? Yeah. I'm just saying, that's just, there's another screwed up thing that's going to be happening in Florida. There's going to be a lot of cemeteries that will be just unearthed.
Floating.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all right. That's a weird way to start this segment. All right, so let's get into a little Canes talk. All right, talk to me about recruiting. The man is everywhere. He's like Sagua Fair. He's everywhere. So what do we know on the recruiting front? Because obviously he's trying to keep current guys. And by the way, Manny, part 2 of that question sounds like the good players that you might have been worried about that might transfer. Sounds like they're all staying, right? It looks like they all love the vibe that they've seen so far. So,
Yeah,
enlighten
I
us.
don't think he scared anybody away as far as current players, at least not yet. We'll see what happens in the middle of spring football, right? When they have to go through the offseason program and then whatever he implements here as far as changes. There will be, I guess, a new strength coach at some point as well coming in here. And so we'll see how that shakes out. We'll see. I think anybody who leaves is probably good for the program. I don't think it's going to be bad for the program. It'll be guys that probably just don't fit in here. But as far as additions, look, Miami's got 8 commitments going into the early signing period tomorrow. And the top 6 guys that are all 4-star recruits, guys that are considered top 350 players or whatever in the country. Those guys, I think, for them are all coming. The one guy who might stray is Chris Graves. He's a cornerback out of Fort Myers. He's got a good relationship with Corey Raymond, who's the new cornerbacks coach at Florida. He came over from LSU. He was there for many years, developed a lot of great cornerbacks. So I think of the 8 commitments, the one that you would care most about losing would potentially be Chris Graves. He said he's going to sign with Miami tomorrow, but we'll find out. And then as far as additions, they hosted a bunch of kids this past weekend. I talked to Ja'Cory Brown, the quarterback commitment. He's kind of my insider, when it comes to recruiting, since he talks to all the kids. Miami likes this Kevin Coleman kid. He's a 4-star receiver out of St. Louis, Missouri. And supposedly had a really good trip here. Really enjoyed his time. He was getting recruited by Cristobal at Oregon. People thought, maybe he's going to Florida State for a while. Now, all of a sudden, I think Miami's at the forefront with him. And then the one who I think Miami will definitely get tomorrow is Nigel Kelly. He's the 6'4", 240-pound edge rusher from Fort Lauderdale Dillard here locally. At the moment, Miami's only got one kid committed from Dade or Broward County. That's Wesley Besaint, the 4-star linebacker. So I think tomorrow, when you talk about, hey, what do we need to look for in early signing day, which I'm sure will be one of your questions, Nigel Kelly, I guess, is the big time kid. He's a top 100 player. I sat down with him in August and talked about his recruiting trips. He went everywhere. His mom is his best friend, and they went together everywhere on these recruiting trips. And he had a great time at Oregon. Really loved the facilities, but I think he also really likes Mario Cristobal. So for Miami, who was in his top 5 no matter what, I think getting Cristobal here strengthens their chance of getting him. So we'll see tomorrow. I mean, there'll be news, but the one thing I would tell everybody is don't expect for Miami to sign a big class now, because it's just hard. Like, he just got here last week. Like, you're not going to all of a sudden have 15, 20 guys sign with them tomorrow. You'll probably get a guy in the transfer report out of Alabama, this Marcus Banks, cornerback, who I think played in 8 games this past season, started 1. He may be a guy that signs tomorrow with Miami. Another veteran cornerback from the SEC. You'll take that right after what you got with Tyreek Stevenson. So, but don't expect a big class, because really most of the work now, and I would say going forward, we're so used to, hey, you signed 25 guys, right? I think everything's going to remain fluid with the transfer portal.
Right, and that's the thing that I think they're going to be able to take advantage of in the very near future here. That once he figures out what recruits he's going to get, then I think he'll then attack the transfer portal and kind of fill out whatever needs he may have, which Lord knows a couple of offensive linemen would be really nice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he went out to Texas and he talked with a couple of the guys, some that he had recruited to Oregon that were Oregon commitments. And then I know Texas put out that alert that they were going to be paying every single one of their incoming offensive linemen, I think $150,000 or something like that. So, yeah, NIL is making things interesting. But I suspect one way or another. Look, kids look at rosters, man. That's what they do. They look at rosters. They see where the playing time is. They look at the relationships. Hey, how long is this coach going to be there? Did he just get there? What coordinators does he have? Do I get along with a coordinator? Because of NIL and the transfer portal, like free agency is just going to be nuts. It's just going to be college football free agency is what it's going to be. And so while we can sit here and talk about recruiting classes and how's he doing on the recruiting trail, like until you reach days like tomorrow and through Wednesday, that 3-day early signing period, and then knowing that there's still one in February, like until you get past February, you really won't know how this class looks. Like you really can't judge it until February, the end of February. And then at that point, still, you could say, well, they still could add 5 more guys through the transfer portal here at the end of spring. So it's like to get a clear picture the way we used to, hey, this class is ranked whatever, that doesn't exist anymore in my book.
Okay. Coaching wise, what do we know? Offensive coordinator, all that good stuff. What do we know?
Well, we know that he's talking to different people. Joe Brady is not coming. I've talked about that on my podcast, the Wide Right podcast for the Athletic, a little bit in the past.
He doesn't want to recruit. He doesn't want to recruit.
He's
basically.
just there's like I told you last week. Some of these guys are just they're playbook guys. They want to play Madden, right? They just want to design offenses and be creative, and they don't want to necessarily recruit. And so that's why some guys end up in the NFL because they're good enough at what they do that the NFL takes them and they can be used in that way. But recruiting, the passion to do that, to go and fly all over the country, like there's fewer guys that want to do that. There just are. So as far as the coordinator search, Jakari Brown, who's the Miami commitment that I mentioned earlier, he mentioned to me yesterday Kendall Briles, who's at Arkansas, and how he's got a good relationship with him.
Son, right?
And so does Jake. Huh?
That's Art Briles' son, right?
Yeah. He's a very highly touted play caller and a guy who does well, I think, on the recruiting trail, as far as getting along with recruits. I know he has a relationship with Jake Garcia as well. He was trying to recruit Jake Garcia to his previous destination. And so, that's one name that I've heard. And to hear from a recruit tells me that it's probably legit, that's somebody Miami is talking about. There's been other names tossed around, but, you know how this is. Like, the guys are still coaching their other teams, and if anybody's involved in the playoff, they're not going to do any of this negotiating or any of this stuff till after, they coach in their games in the playoffs. So I don't know who is on the list. I just know that it doesn't seem like anything is imminent with any coordinators. I think assistant coaches, he's evaluating those guys. I think there's a chance T-Rob, Travaris Robinson, the defensive backs coach, could be retained. He could potentially be the defensive coordinator here. Because I don't know that there's a lot of great options out there right now as far as D coordinators. Lanning going to Georgia. Leaving Georgia for Oregon, I think kind of makes Schumann next in line there, right? To be the DC. That was one guy that I had heard early that maybe Mario would be interested in. So we'll see. To me, let's get past signing day, these next 3 days, and then I think we'll get more clarity on the coaching front because Mario will probably be more intensively focused on that while the team is practicing for the bowl game.
All right, so the bowl game's coming up. What are you hearing, considering all the coaches that are left over, on surviving all of this? And really, how much can bowl week really have an influence on you staying or leaving?
Well, I think, one thing Mario wants to do is, you can't just get rid of everybody when you come in. You got to retain some of the guys who know the roster, right? Who know the players, who know whatever private issues they're dealing with, right? And so I think guys in the recruiting department, like Edwin Pata, who's very plugged into this roster, who is one of the assistant recruiting coordinators, I think him and David Cooney have done a good job recruiting some of the local players here, building good relationships with guys like Wesley Bassant and Nigel Kelly and whatnot. I think those guys have a future at Miami. I think DeMarcus Van Dyke, whether or not he stays on as a cornerbacks coach, he is a very good recruiter. And he's plugged into the local recruiting scene. Maybe he goes back to the recruiting department. I don't know. We'll see what Mario does. I know there's a lot of coaches on staff that are just sort of anxious to figure out what are they going to do. And I think Mario ultimately wants to see these guys work. What can they pull off? What can they do here? What role can I fit them in? The one thing Miami will have is more analysts on staff, right? They have more money for that. So maybe you keep guys on as analysts or in different roles. The one thing about this coaching profession is it gets tiring for these guys having to move. So if they can stay on, even if it's in a lower capacity where they're not on the field coaching, I think some of those guys might consider that. But decisions like Ed Reed, chief of staff, all that other stuff, your guess is as good as mine right now. I think Mario's very, very dialed into just recruiting right now, and we'll see in the weeks ahead how things shape up. I know that he obviously has a bigger budget than the previous guy, so I would assume he's going to try to get the best guys possible, and that could mean that very few guys from the previous staff stay.
So have you been able to figure out where the money's all coming from?
Well, a lot of it is from Miami and the coffers. I mean, that's the story that I was told, that a lot of this money was coming straight out of Miami's system. And I mentioned the money from the medical side, right? The fact that they made such big profits with UHealth.
So let me ask you this. So did Julio Frank do this because he didn't want to owe anybody anything? Because if you take Ruiz's money or Moss's money or whatever donor's money, you then have to listen to them because they gave you that money. But if you're spending your own money, you don't have to answer to anybody. You don't have to justify anything, and you can move on. And you don't have to also deal with somebody that is kind of a big fan and not really part of your, institution. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So did they do that more because the aesthetics are a lot better for you? The situation will be a lot better for you as a program, that you don't have some booster telling you what to do and what not to do with his or her money?
Right. I think certainly. And one way that you go from being just a fan or somebody who's going to give money to the school or say that you're going to give money to the school is you become a member of the board of trustees. And so in that regard, Jose Mas, he is on the actual board. Okay. And whatever money he puts in, everybody is aware of that, right? They know what he puts in.
Right.
But the other guys, the Reese family, what's his name, Marcus Lemonis, all of those guys, I mean, it's a different level of commitment, being a booster or somebody who wants to see the university do well versus being on the board of trustees. So I think, I certainly think they will not turn a check away at Miami, but I certainly think that at the same time, they've operated with the notion that, hey, we can't bank on any checks coming in, right? We have to operate on what we can do, because in the end, we're the ones paying the bill. So we'll happily take checks, but we're in control of this situation, or at least we're going to make it out to be that we're in control of this situation. And we know what we have in our coffers to pay for this stuff. And obviously there was a story from the Miami Herald that came out. I'm sure you saw it. My former colleague, Jay Weaver, who I worked with on many stories in the past. He's one of the best reporters in South Florida. So well connected to people in government, the FBI, etc. And Jay, had this story that came out that was basically saying, teachers are complaining because the money that UM had maybe promised them or was going to give them for 401ks, whatever it was, salary, they seem to think that it's going towards Mario and the athletic program. So is some of that money diverted from them to help pay athletic bills? Maybe. I mean, they've never done it before. So certainly had to come from somewhere, right? Somebody had to get some end of this.
All right. No, but listen, man, either way, I don't care. As long as they're spending, they're going to give themselves a chance to actually really compete at the highest level. And so on the NIL front, what are you hearing there? What are they trying to do? Because I'm sure that's an area where boosters actually could help a lot.
Right. Well, I mean, as I've mentioned before, they've had big time boosters, including the guy here locally who owns the MMA gyms, who I've spoken to in the past, and now his name's escaping me as we sit here talking.
I know who you're talking.
Right. He's given a ton of money, obviously. And I know Sportico, I think, came up with an article last week saying the NCAA is looking into this. Dan Lambert. That's right. Thank you, Sean. Dan, look, he loves the University of Miami. He's going to continue to give money to help NIL. He wasn't happy that the results ultimately didn't, end up showing on the field or even in the recruiting class, because this recruiting class right now is ranked 57th in the country, and as they go into tomorrow. So Dan wanted better results. I know Sportico said the NCAA was going to investigate, but the reality is I don't see how the NCAA could really investigate anything when there were no rules in place. It was the Wild West for the last year. So I think in the end, until rules are formally adopted and enforced, it's going to continue to be the Wild West. You're going to continue to have schools like Texas saying, hey, we'll pay our offensive lineman recruits, $50,000 or $150,000, whatever the amount was, saying, things like that. So I think in the end, NIL it's going to help if you're able to funnel it through recruiting. And I don't know that that's happened yet. I don't know that there's been enough kids who have honestly been enticed by NIL to pick a school. I know that's the ultimate fear by the NCAA, right? That you're just going to pay kids to come to your school, legally, right? Or illegally. I don't know that it's really taken root yet, because I haven't heard of many kids who said, yeah, I'm going to Ohio State because they paid me $1 million. The NIL is paying me $1 million. Or I'm going to Miami because Dan Lambert makes sure that all of us get $5,000 a month. Like I have yet to hear a kid say that to me in any conversation. So I think while it certainly could influence kids' decisions, I don't think it's the number one decision maker right now.
Is this going to trickle down to any other sport? I mean, basketball, they don't really have stars anymore. Their stars are going to the G League anyways now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even staying in basketball as it is. Baseball has got its rules that I don't even know if you can really do anything to really help it, right? I don't think there is.
Right.
You are set the way you are in baseball.
Limited scholarships.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. So this is really strictly a football thing, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's female athletes that are cashing in on this, right? The really good-looking ones with big Instagram accounts and people who, are invested in some of the female sports, volleyball, soccer, softball, etc., basketball. I think they can make some money off of this, but the reality is, again, look, Quinn Ewers signed with Ohio State, right? And he made $1 million, the number one recruit in the country, the quarterback out of Texas, and he's gone. He left Ohio State. He's at Texas now. So again, it ultimately what people want NIL to do is attract recruits to their school. It could attract transfers. It could attract recruits. But the reality is, I've yet to hear anybody say, yeah, that's why I'm going to your school. Like it in the end, it's just like the cherry on top for these kids. It's just kind of like a reward for the top ones. It's not really, I don't know, in my mind, changing the face of the game. I think the bigger influence is the transfer portal and the coaches and the shifting around and the kids just trying to make it to the pros. Wherever they feel they can make it to the pros the easiest, and whatever coach is going to play them the most, that's where they're going to school.
What has been the reaction from the players in the locker room? Have you been able to talk to any of them in their thoughts of Mario? Regarding Mario, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I think, I haven't had a chance to speak to any of them individually. Tomorrow, Tyler Van Dyke's going to be doing something in the afternoon at the Boys and Girls Club. And I'm going to go down there and hopefully get a chance to talk to him. But he went on WSVN this weekend and talked about Mario and how much everybody in the locker room likes him. I think the general consensus is he's a straightforward guy. Ja'Curry Brown, who I mentioned earlier, the recruit who's coming in, told me the one thing he likes about Mario is he doesn't BS you. He's straight up. He's like, hey, I'm just trying to make us win here. He's not trying to like sweeten kids up with nice words and, hey, we love your talent and we can't wait to He's not that kind of guy. When he talks to these guys, it's about one thing, it's winning and getting better. And so I think for a certain kind of kid and player, that resonates, because they don't want the BS. I mean, they understand, a lot of them understand what it's really all about. So I think his message is being well delivered and well received.
Yeah, I'm with you. And that, I think that's athletes over the length of time that I've covered sports. 90-something% of them just want the brutal honesty. Obviously, there's a very small percentage. Those are pampered athletes that they can't handle the truth, and that's But that's a really small percentage of players. Most of the guys, college or pro, amateur or pro, they just want the straight word on where they stand or whatever. They can live with everything else. They can adjust to everything else normally. That's been my experiences too. What are you working on The Athletic, my brother, before I let you go?
Yeah, I just put out a new article with all the recruiting information that we discussed earlier. That just went up on the website today. Tonight, actually, at 4 p.m., around 4 p.m. in the afternoon, we're going to speak to Dan Radakovich again. We'll actually be able to do it in person. He's going to be introduced. So I'll be at that press conference. I'll write something off of that. Like I mentioned, Tyler Van Dyke tomorrow and signing day. So there'll be plenty to read about. And then the coordinator chase and the news with that in the weeks and days ahead. So there'll be plenty to read at The Athletic, plus a recap of everything of last week. I mean, I got a lot of good stories up there. So make sure you sign up, man, before the end of the year.
Subscribe, baby. Great deals going on and great coverage of the Canes and all the other stuff locally and nationally there at The Athletic. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. We'll catch up on Friday, my friend.
Absolutely. Take care.
You got it. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. That's your Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. Hour number 3 is next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
When you're ready to purchase a new home loan or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727, or online at adreamlending.com. When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411, and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. The Big O Radio Show is looking for an experienced salesperson in the radio or TV business. The candidate must have at least 5 years of sales experience in the broadcast business over the last 10 years. Please email your phone number and resume to bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Looking for an aggressive person who can help our platform expand into many avenues in our business. Reach out if you are the person that's able to make a difference. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, hour number 3. We are ready to rock and roll in this hour. By the way, Alex Winley is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk a little Inter Miami since we've got some news going on with Inter Miami. Appreciate all of you keeping it nice and locked in here. Thank you for the support. As always, please smash the hell out of the like button. It is very, very important that you do that, okay? Smash the like button, all right? Appreciate it. As always, what else do we have here? going on. All right, so we got the Heat losing last night, Sixers tonight. Panthers back in action tonight, hosting the Senators. Barkov also a little banged up. We'll see what happens there. Rams defeat the Cardinals 30-23. What else? What else is going on in the world of sports, especially in pro sports? We got the Dolphins in action this weekend against the Jets. Remember, we'll be at Sports Grill on Bird Road in Miami. Pre-game will start at 11 a.m. Let's see. Oh, NFL draft. We not that I'm talking draft, but just so you'll know where Miami stands. Philadelphia holds the 9th spot with Miami's pick at 6 and 7. Miami holds the 22nd spot with San Francisco's pick at 7 and 6. So both picks keep dropping. A lot of people thought it was going to be a top 5 pick, top 3 pick with the Dolphins. It'll be outside of the top 10 because eventually they should win a couple of more games. I mean, they could win the next 4 games. I'm not saying they will because it's not easy. They should win this week. Not easy, but they should win. But, you know, anything can happen. It's a crazy game. We've watched this in the past. You never know, but I wanted to give you at least the draft standings, where they're at. And by the way, we are hoping, if everything goes well, if the support is there and the sponsors and all of that, and we want to be at the NFL draft in Vegas. All right, we definitely want to be there. We're going to try to make Vegas our second home in 2022. You know, somehow or another, I've got to like force Sean to go to Vegas several times. I don't know what it is, but it's just one of those things. I'm telling you, Sean, do you want to go there for the East-West? We can go there for the Pro Bowl. We can go there for the draft. We can go there for NBA Summer League, some boxing matches, MMA. What do you think? And he's like, I don't know. And he's kind of waffling. I mean, he's the only human being on the planet that I've got to somehow twist his arm to get him to go to Vegas. I tell you, really is amazing. I'm telling you, most people are dying to go to Vegas. Sean, not that impressed. You know what I'm saying? No, but seriously, we are going to do our best. I can't tell you where we're going to host the draft. Might probably be Tommy Rockers. I think we might be able to do it there and have a whole bunch of Dolphin fans with us. All right. So we'll see. Dolphins 8.5 in that. More on the Jets sucking or Vegas hyping the Dolphins. No, it's just that the Jets are really terrible and the Dolphins have improved. That's all. Nothing wrong with that. But at least you know where they stand on the draft, and hopefully we'll be able to be there for that event and many other events in Vegas. We are working on several things. NorCal says Danny Carey, drummer from Tool, arrested. Yes. NorCal's like, he's a great drummer. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I have the story here. Let me pull it up here on Carey getting arrested, which is just kind of silly. But here it is. So Tool drummer Danny Carey was arrested following an altercation at a Kansas City airport on Sunday. According to TMZ, he was getting into it with an employee working security at the airport. A later update reported that the drummer shoved the person in the chest with 2 fingers and shouted, "You're an effing cigarette." Okay? You're an effing cigarette. I don't know how many people are smart enough to know some of the slang terms for cigarette. But there's a gay term that's used for a cigarette. Okay? That's with an F. That word that has 3 letters, that's actually another word for cigarette. So, in the video, Carey can be seen arguing with police following the incident. He says, "You're really arresting me for assault? Who did I assault?" The Tool drummer can be heard saying, "I just want to get the F out of here." By the way, he also told them, "I'm the drummer of Tool." This report doesn't have it, but the other one that I read also said it. Rolling Stones confirmed the arrest. Spokesman with the Kansas City Aviation Department noting that the report of a disturbance between two males in the airport terminal came around 7 p.m. local time. Carey was transported to nearby police station where he was booked for misdemeanor assault. His mugshot can be seen in the tweet below. The drummer and Tool have both declined comment on the incident so far. Carey had been in his hometown of Lawrence, Kansas over the weekend, performing at the University of Kansas during the basketball game against a rival, the University of Missouri. Carey joined in for a rendition of Jimi Hendrix's classic Fire. The Rockers' arrest comes less than a month before Tool is scheduled to set out on a 2022 U.S. tour, which begins January 10th in Eugene, Oregon. While a performance in Kansas City is scheduled for March 15th, it's with great pleasure I announce our return on the road, Carey declared in a September press release. The past 18 months have been trying, to say the least, but from great trials comes great lessons and great rewards. We are genuinely looking forward to sharing them with you. So there you go. Yeah, apparently he also told him, hey, I'm the drummer of Tool. You're arresting me, dude? I'm the drummer of Tool. Come on. Oh, that is awesome. That is just absolutely awesome. So there you go. Yep, he's a great drummer. There's no doubt, but he's also an idiot for getting into it with an employee at the airport. Come on, dude. You are, Danny Carey. You are the drummer of Tool. Like, be a little smarter. Don't get into fights with people like that. Come on, man. Person's doing his own job. You do yours. Just get the hell out, get your bag, and move on, baby. Don't get arrested for something so silly like that. By the way, I do have some music news since you brought it up there, okay? On this date in music history, December 14th, let's go back to 1962. Bill Wyman made his debut with the Rolling Stones at the Ricky Tick Club in Windsor, England. In 95 on this date, White House documents were released revealing that the FBI spied on John Lennon and his anti-war activities in the early 70s in a possible attempt to have him deported. The reports also criticized Yoko Ono's singing ability. So they were spending our money, our taxpayer money, the FBI, to spy on John Lennon. Just think about that. Think about how ridiculous that is, that we would spend our money spying on John Lennon. The only good thing that came out of that report is that they figured out that Yoko Ono sucks. That's about the only good thing that came out of that report. Because let me tell you something. It should be a crime to allow Yoko Ono to do anything musically. Personally, I would grab Yoko Ono and the Plastic Band or whatever the hell they were called. I would use her music and videos to torture any terrorist that we capture. Oh, you don't want to talk? Really? Well, we're about to put you in a room with Yoko Ono's music and watch that terrorist lose his or her mind and give you everything. They'll tell you every sleeper cell. They'll tell you everybody that's in charge. They'll tell you about every cave they're living in and every mountain in Afghanistan, okay, before they have to tolerate Yoko Ono and her music. I'm telling you, that is, in fact, if we ever get in another war again, we should just jam Yoko Ono's music on all our tanks and move forward. We will crush everything in sight. In 99 on this date, for the first time since 1963, Paul McCartney performed at Liverpool's Cavern Club. He was joined by Pink Floyd's David Gilmour and Deep Purple's Ian Pace. Can you imagine you're in a little club and it's McCartney, Gilmour, and Ian Pace? Are you effing kidding me? In 2004 on this date, Thousands of fans attended a memorial for late Pantera and Damage Plan guitarist Dimebag Darrell in Arlington, Texas. Eddie Van Halen, Jerry Cantrell, Zakk Wylde, and Dimebag's brother Vinnie Paul were also at the ceremony. So those are some of the things that happened in music history on this date. How about that? John Lennon's lifestyle was proof he was an anti-capitalist. I mean, seriously, you're following around a musician. like that guy's like some kind of a spy or something. I mean, give me a break, man. Get a life. It's just weird. That's all I could say. Just weird. What else do we have going on that I wanted to talk about from yesterday or the last couple of days here on the program? Dougie Fresh says, "Oh, I'm old enough to know who Yoko Ono is, but many here are not. Bill Burr does a great vid about Yoko's titled Bill Burr Yoko Ono. John Lennon and Chuck Berry HD remake start at 40 seconds." All right, I'll check it out when I get off the air. I'll have to I gotta remember this. What is it? Okay, so okay, I will okay. I will check it out. And start at 40 seconds. All right, I got you. Does anyone know what Dimebag Darrell's first stage name for Pantera? I don't remember now. I would not know, my friend. Right now, that does not come to mind. I have to be honest. So I am going to learn. It was Diamond Darrell. That's what NorCal says. Okay. Bill Burr is hilarious, says Vaughn 954. Shad Khan vows to do the right thing with Urban Meyer. I saw this story now. Says on the surface, Monday's comments from Jags owner Shad Khan seem to suggest he'll stay the course. On closer inspection, Khan has left the door open to do whatever he thinks he needs to do, given the current situation involving his team. Speaking at a pre-planned reception on his super yacht with local beat writers to discuss the state of the team, the question understandably focused on first-year coach Urban Meyer. I'm not impulsive. I learned that a long time ago. With anything that's that important, you don't want to be impulsive. You want to look at exactly what I know firsthand, what people are telling me, and then collect that and do the right thing. He noted that Gus Bradley and Doug Marrone received 4 years to turn things around. Khan did not commit to another 4-year plan for Meyer, calling it absolutely a trap I don't believe falling in. I think we have a history of looking at the facts and doing the right thing. Wins and losses, this is a little bit different. I'm going to reflect on all of that and do what's the right thing for the team and the right thing for the city. And while on the field, success continues to be the primary focus, Khan recognized that there's something different regarding the struggles of a team that usually enjoy the luxury of falling with anonymity. What's different about this thing is you have losses and you have drama. In the past, it was like it was the lowly Jaguars and everyone left you alone. Now, the scrutiny we have is really something different. So how much of that is we bringing it upon ourselves, or how much of that is deserved? In this case, Urban, he won he won wherever he was. There is something he's never dealt with. And when you win in football, you create enemies. The only way you can really deal with that is you got to win again. The plan is you need to start winning now and tell me what you need, and that's what we're going to do, Khan said. I feel we have a roster that is far better than winning 2 games. So now you've got that story, and you've got also the story that you've got people trashing, obviously, Urban Meyer too, in the process. So that's the other story that's also floating around because of all the controversy. So now you start getting all these stories like Albert Breer from SI, and he starts to report. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. It was Pro Football Network that reported it. And it said a quote from an anonymous player who called out the coach as a hypocrite and a phony. He came in preaching values, family, and team. It's been anything but that. It's been anything but since the start of training camp. He's a phony and a hypocrite. We know who he is, the anonymous Jags player. And that was Tony Pauling from Pro Football Network that reported that. And that's obviously Meyer addressed it and said that he would, cut the person on the spot and all that kind of crap. And you got to, this is a dude that has brought all kinds of controversy with him wherever he's gone. So this is nothing new now. But the clown is normally involved with kids. So you can control the kids to a certain extent because they need you in order to get to the next level. At the NFL, they don't need you, dude. They need you to win. But if you're not helping them win, they can throw your ass under the bus with a quickness. And that's what's going on. And if Shad Khan wants to do the right thing, unfortunately, you're going to have to actually make yourself look really bad. And you're going to have to fire the guy after his first year. Because if you stay with Urban Meyer, who is going to have trouble building a staff at this level, because professional coaches are not going to want to coach with this guy because they know the game better than he does, but he's not paying attention to them. Damn, I wonder what's going on in another city. There's another NFL city where the coach is acting like he knows everything. Damn, I wonder where that is. But anyway, so for this scenario, if you're Shad Khan, I know that firing the guy after 1 year makes you look terrible. But unlike what was the dude that was on before that, when you assess information, he doesn't want you to make it. No, you got to stay the course. Forgot who was the one? Let me see if I can rewind. I don't know if it's still, was it Chris L? Was it? I'm looking at Chris L here. Was that Chris L or who was it? One of these guys. Remember they were saying, "Oh no, you're waffling. You're changing your mind. You thought Flo was great last year. Now you don't." Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is when you know you're wrong and you're not willing to admit you're wrong. You know what I mean? That's bad. And Shad Khan has to do the ugly thing now at the end of the year. And he has to part ways with the guy because he's not the person. And all he's going to do, Urban Meyer has been consistent on embarrassing himself. I mean, consistent. You know what's my favorite part about the Urban Meyer press conferences? How he talks about his past consistently. Well, this never happened to me. Well, I always had control over this. I always did this. Dude, that's college. You've never done this. So stop comparing what you did with kids and in college to what you're doing now. So it's an ugly story, but it's not going to get any better because it's Urban Meyer. I think, in fact, it looks like it's only going to get worse because he doesn't look like a guy that's going to learn from his mistakes. He's rather going to blame everybody else for what's going on there. And that's probably what will happen once he gets fired. He'll blame everybody else. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Khan in Jacksonville will continue to wallow in the mire. I know I live here. Typical Jacksonville. Can't wait to get back to South Florida. I can't see him keeping him, to be honest with you. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Couldn't we have bought in an O-line consultant to help the clown we got now? It's Flo. Flo hires who he wants, dude. It's Flo. Big O, you change your mind. I can understand that, but I disagree. Flo will turn it around. You can disagree, But that's not what the conversation was. Okay? You were taking shots at me because I changed my mind. And what I did was what intelligent people do. Well, you assess the information that you've been given, and then you say, okay, well, no, wait a minute. This is not the path we're going. We're going down another path now. See, you say Flo will turn it around, and I will then turn around to you like every time, every other person that has said that, I said, where's the proof that tells you he's going to find offensive coaches? And that's where you have no answer. And that's why I changed my mind. See? You say they're going to turn it around, but yet for 3 years now, he's made 7 changes there. And do you think he has to, do you keep the same offensive coaches? No. And what makes you think you're going to find really good offensive coaches to work for him? That's the definition of insanity, my brother. Doing the same thing over and over again, and you're expecting a different result. That's insanity. The great thing about being an NFL owner is that no matter how bad your team is, you still make money. Yeah, but you got to remember, most of those guys, not all of them, a Mike Brown in Cincinnati, he cares about money more than winning. Okay, that's different. But most of these guys, like Stephen Ross, Stephen Ross obviously cares about making some money. But do you really think, would Stephen Ross rather win and lose $50 million at the end of the year, or do you think he'd rather lose and make $150 million at the end of the year? You see what I'm saying? Stephen Ross, I think, is one of those guys that the money doesn't mean nearly as much to him as winning. We're going to talk to Alex Winley now in a minute, and she covers Inter Miami. And I can bet you anything that Jorge Mas, he's a billionaire. Of course he wants to make money. They all want to make money. That's how they got there. But I bet you this, if you tell him, hey, you'll win the MLS Cup, but you lost $50 million, he goes, where can I sign up right now? Because to him, winning is much more important on the life resume, because obviously he's not filling in a regular resume like you and me looking for a job. He doesn't need to look for a job. He hands jobs. He's the guy that gives out those jobs. You know what I'm saying? So he's handing off those jobs. Not. He doesn't apply anywhere. So he needs it just for his ego. So does Stephen Ross. Stephen Ross would rather write you a check for $200 million that he lost, but he won the Super Bowl. So I understand what you're saying, that, yeah, there are some owners that probably only care about the money, but I think most of these owners, they have so much money that they're in it because of the ego of winning. They've been winning in life all the time. They got billions. So they've been winning. They're tired of winning in the money game. Now they're trying to build something to beat other billionaires with their toys. That's what's going on. So I think there's a little bit of that. All right, let's talk a little Inter Miami. We got some football news here. And so I want to find out what's going on with our local team. Alex Winley from the Heron Outlet. She does an excellent job. Follow her on Twitter at AAW_1998. She joins us next.
Hey, it's Big O. Protect your home the way we do with Sloman's Home Security, folks. And if you want some great news, how about this? A free doorbell camera. That's right. The first 40 Big O listeners who dial 1-800-ALARM-ME will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman's Shield. And that's not all, folks. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 Big O listeners to call 1-800-ALARM-ME, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Keep your family safe like we do here in the Alzigari family. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME.
All righty, we are back, and there she is, Alex Winley. Alex, good afternoon. We haven't had you on the show in a while. How you doing?
Good afternoon. I hope you're well.
I am doing great. Can't complain. Everything is going well with the show, growing and growing every single day. So we are very, very happy, and we are ecstatic that you took the time to join us. Alex, I talked a little bit about it yesterday, and I hated seeing Lewis Morgan leave. But when I started, I started going over the roster, and I go, well, McCarthy, Gibbs, McCoon, Figal, LGP, Matuidi, Higuain, Pizarro, very overpaid, Ulloa, Chapman, Penn. I start going through all these names, Robbie Robinson, Breck Shea, and it's like, well, they didn't really have a lot of tradable pieces. They didn't really have a lot of pieces that people would want. And so really, Lewis Morgan was one of the few pieces that you wanted. And I will say this, the prior coach actually used him better than this coach anyway, as it is. So it's kind of a little twisted in a way, but he is one of your better players. And that's the sad state of where this team is because of all the mistakes and the fines. You were actually forced to get rid of what could be arguably one of your best players, if not your best player.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because Lewis, he really liked being in Miami. If you read that exit interview he did with Michelle Kaufman in the Miami Herald, he said, basically someone had to leave. And unfortunately, it was him. But luckily, Inter Miami did get a decent price for him. They got about 1.2 million in general allocation money over the course of 2 years, which is split into 700,000 for 2022 and 500,000 for 2023. So it's a good get for him. But yeah, to your point about Lewis not really fitting into Neville's system, it's true. Last season, under Diego Alonso, the offense basically ran through Lewis. So under Neville, he was much more of a I don't want to say utility player, but because he was so quick and had a good work rate, Neville basically chucked him over to right wing back because he was quick enough and he was doing what Neville wanted out of that position. So it's unfortunate, but like you said, he was one of a couple of players, actually. There's teams interested in Leandro Gonzalez Perez, Nico Figal, Rodolfo as well, which is surprising. There are MLS teams that are interested in those players. So, yeah, Lewis at this time.
What is it, an LA team interested in Pizarro?
There's multiple teams that, like
Really?
Colorado Rapids, for example, they're not interested, but I'm saying using them as an example, they don't have any DP spots. So, if they want to go after a more creative player in Pizarro, they can definitely trade for him within the league. They're not interested. This is not me reporting anything, but, stuff like that. And yeah, there are teams interested, which is surprising in those players. So, but for Lewis's case, he was obviously the first to go. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's the nature of the business at this point.
Well, you got me excited because I didn't think you could get rid of Pizarro unless there's some Mexican club that you can dump him on there. I didn't think anybody would want him in the MLS. So talk to me about the DPs, because personally, I'd like to see all of them out of here, to be quite honest. I think you need to get better than that, but I can't see them trading Higuain. I don't see anybody taking on that salary, or Matuidi. So talk to me. Is there any chance in getting rid of any of these? Hey, I didn't think the University of Miami would spend money. They did. So maybe this is the year where what I would never expect happens. So tell me, Alex, can they get rid of any of these DPs?
Uh, well, Pizarro would be the easiest out of the three. There are teams in Mexico interested in his services. Chivas, Monterrey. I saw some reports about that. Within MLS, I did see reports that there are a couple teams that would be interested in him and his services. For Matuidi and Higuain, there's no resale value for them unless if Inter Miami really want to do they can buy out one of their contracts, which is very expensive, and they can only do it for one player a year. They did it last year with Matthias Pellegrini, but both Higuain and Matuidi, their contracts run out at the end of 2022, so it really wouldn't make sense for an MLS team to trade for an aging player that's going to retire or leave next season anyway. That's why I don't know if you saw, but yesterday Inter Miami dropped their list of eligible players for the expansion
Yeah.
draft that's going to be taking place later today. Matuidi's unprotected precisely because he's such a high risk. No one's going to go near his contract, his age, so it's not really a risk to leave him unprotected because there's no way that someone is Charlotte is going to waste a DP spot on a player whose contract ends in a year anyway, and his salary's high. So it was no risk for Miami to leave him unprotected because no Charlotte's not going to go after him. So with those two, it's extraordinarily difficult because their age and their salary, and then even other teams outside of MLS, there's no point because they're just old and on a lot of money. So it's a lot of wishful thinking from Inter Miami fans, but guys like Pizarro, Figal, LGP, they have a better resale value because they're still younger and they've got some um they're just better players at this point. That's why Lewis Morgan is gone. So the older players like that, Matuidi, Higuain, once 2022 is gone, Inter Miami will have two free DP spots. So it makes sense for them just to keep them a year, and
Suck
then
it
when
up.
they do leave,
Yeah.
yep, because in a year's time they will have free reign to literally sign whoever they want. And the club will be much better in the long run if they just suck it up and keep them here for a year, and then they can leave at the end of this year.
So what's the hope for me as a fan going into this upcoming season? Because they're not going to be players, big players in any kind of free agency. You just mentioned it. We really got to look for 2023, I'm sorry, to get rid of the DPs, and then those spots will open. And I know George is going to spend and he'll try to, but hopefully this time they'll go and get guys that actually can put the ball in the net. No, don't get any defensive midfielders as your DPs, please. Give me a break.
Yeah, no.
That was just so unless I can understand if you got a DP as defensive midfielder, if you were lucky enough that you drafted a couple, like Robbie became a monster or something like that, then I can understand that if you have riches on offense, then you go get an exceptional defensive player as a DP. I kind of get that. But in Miami's case, I would spend all my DPs on people that can score. So what is the hope that I have this year? I know that they signed the Santos kid, Jean Mota.
Mm.
So what do I have? What am I looking forward to this season if they're not going to be big players in the offseason?
Well, it's MLS. Literally anything can happen. You look at the Colorado Rapids; they finished first in the West this season, and they had literally no DPS on the field except for one, but he wasn't really used. So it's not about how much money you spend. Who knows with a couple of players that they bring in this offseason, it literally takes two or three players to change the tide of the team. And who knows, Inter Miami could go on a run, but for this season, it's definitely them looking towards the future, but at the same time, them looking to be competitive. Look at Jean Mata. There's reports about Rafael Vega, the extraordinarily good attacking midfielder from Palmeiras, who won the Copa Libertadores the other day. They're in negotiations with him. It remains to be seen if he does come in. Guys like that. There's also later this week there's free agency and waiver lists and a reentry draft. So Miami can look around the league and get really good players that may not be the flashiest, but they get the job done for Phil Neville. But yeah, this year for Inter Miami, it'll be a weird year, but I can guarantee you there will probably be some really good moments. It's MLS, literally anything can happen. Look, I'm not saying people, oh, go, renew your season tickets, but if you really, want to see this club, start their foundational building process towards, 2023, where they will have two free DP spots where they can really go out and splash the cash and get players that fit what the club wants to do. You go through this season, it's not going to be easy, but you can see that building process there. And plus, you've got younger players like Noah Allen. We interviewed him on the Heron Outlet, probably coming to the first team, local kids, you could have some real pride about. So, well, this next season's not going to be a throwaway. There's definitely some really interesting storylines heading into next year.
So it's more about development and try to create as young a base as you can, so the following year you have an opportunity to add, elite talent in your DPs to kind of complete the puzzle, is what you're saying.
Precisely. Look at New York City
Okay.
FC. For example, in previous years they've had Pirlo, Lampard, Villa, but they never came close to sniffing MLS Cup, and it took them a couple years of buying the right players and setting that foundation down in order to win MLS Cup. And it does take a while, and this could be Inter Miami's year where they get rid of all the players that don't fit what the club want to do, and then lay that foundation with some of the younger players, some players like John Mata and whatnot. And then come next year when they do have two free DP spots, Chris Henderson is immaculate at scouting. He's very
Right.
good at that. So, the sky's the limit in regards to next year of who they can sign as DPs. So, but this season, it's definitely laying the foundation for that next level. And it's going to be definitely an interesting year because you see guys like Victor Ulloa who got re-signed. He was, a part of Inter Miami's first two seasons, and he's a guy that can, he's not the flashiest, but he does have value for the team. And, if Inter Miami fans need to look for players like that, Ulloa, who, he never complains. You never hear him complaining. He's always got his head down. He does whatever Phil Neville asks him to do. Players like that that's what the club's trying to build, real astute professionals who, really do love the club and, are just great human beings inside and out, and they provide a lot of that. And it's going to be an interesting switch seeing for the first couple years of Inter Miami where maybe they went after splashier players that maybe didn't fit the locker room, heading into more of a camaraderie. We can also you know you know getting players that are good people but also do what the club wants them to do on the pitch. So yeah, it's gonna be a crazy season, but I'm definitely looking forward to it because there's gonna be some good moments.
Well, that's the good thing about the upcoming season, at least. I can't expect maybe big things to happen, but if you're able to develop a couple of young guys that you can build on, then that to me is exciting. That part is fun because I know George is going to figure this thing out, and bringing Chris Henderson on, I think that's really going to make a difference. I don't know how good Neville's going to be. I don't want to judge him really on what happened last year because he kind of inherited this team. I'm going to judge him more this year now because the team will be more in his liking. And then the following year, obviously, with the DPs, then he'll really have no excuses and he can, go forward. But I think finding some young guys will be the exciting part, that if you can build on a couple pieces, then that now you get a feeling at least that they're headed in the right direction. Alex Winley joining us from the Heron Outlet. Follow her on Twitter, by the way, like I and many others do, at AAW_1998. One more thing before I let you go. It seems like Miami Freedom Park is on target and still the eventual ending point for this team, because I saw that they signed the lease at Mel Reese, but it's a lease that can be terminated at any time once the approval and everything is set for Miami Freedom Park. So I kind of looked at that article today in the Herald and I said, this is really good news still, that they are, the image that we have of that world-class facility. Even though I do like this stadium that we have in Fort Lauderdale. I think they did a terrific job with it.
Yeah, it's
You know,
brilliant.
I mean, in 8 months, they did a marvelous job with it. Damn. But what they want to build, as you know, Alex, in Miami, that thing is going to be world class. And so I think that takes it to another level. So I thought that article was a lot of good news, actually.
Yeah, and it's long overdue. The struggles that this team has had with their stadium sites, heading all the way back 2014, just it's been a lot. So if there's any good news that can come from this, it'll only just help the organization as a whole, just to uplift them. Playing in Fort Lauderdale is great. The stadium is great. It's brilliant. The press box is absolutely brilliant. But playing in Miami proper will only do good things for the team.
Okay. Good stuff. Tell them about the Heron Outlet so folks can follow you there for our soccer fans. They can climb on board and support you guys there at the Heron Outlet.
Yeah, the Heron Outlet. So me, my colleagues Ian Hest, Austin Robillard, and our producer Andres, we are basically covering soccer, Inter Miami, world football as a whole. We have interviews, transfer talk, analysis, tactical breakdowns. We put our podcast on there as well. You can find us at the Heron Outlet on Twitter and on Instagram.
There you go. And she is Alex Winley. She knows her stuff. She does a great job of covering Inter Miami. So if you like La Rosa Negra, make sure you follow Alex Winley. She knows her stuff, baby. Alex, thank you as always. You are awesome. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
You got it. There you go. Alex Winley, man. Excellent stuff. AAW_1998 on Twitter.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for an experienced salesperson in the radio or TV business. The candidate must have at least 5 years of sales experience in the broadcast business over the last 10 years. Please email your phone number and resume to bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Looking for an aggressive person who can help our platform expand into many avenues in our business. Reach out if you are the person that's able to make a difference.
Go. That's right. Reach out, baby. If you're a salesperson, if you got experience in the radio and TV business, at least 5 years of sales experience, and in the last 10 years, obviously we need stuff that is relative now, new. So we need somebody to help us. I don't want to handle sales too, okay? Sean and I do enough work as it is. But I appreciate all of the sponsors that are reaching out to us. And we are adding the sponsors like Tommy B. Butts, who is just absolutely phenomenal. If you need a roof, obviously our newest sponsor now, Sloman's Home Security. There you go. Sloman's Home Security. So if you need an alarm, there you go. Right there. 1-800-ALARM-ME. And we have, make sure you mention Big O Show if you are getting an alarm for your home. And you get a free doorbell alarm if you mention us. So 1-800-ALARM-ME. On my Twitter page and on LinkedIn and Facebook, I think I have it also. I have a link that you can also use for the services for Sloman's Security. So call Sloman's Home Security. And we added another sponsor yesterday. I don't want to mention it yet. I mean, it's pretty much done, but, it's a very interesting sponsor. I'm super excited about it, but it's, it's different. It's actually cool. And Sean, Sean, I was correct, right? You've never broadcasted from a place like that, right? Neither have I. And I have broadcasted from pretty much anywhere and everywhere, that you could possibly broadcast from. This is the kind of place I've never broadcasted from, and it's actually pretty cool that we'll get to broadcast from there. So I love it. Oh, Dougie, I didn't see this question. I'm so sorry. It says, question for Alex. How did you get started as a sports commentator analyst? We will ask her the next time, okay? I tell you what. I would have hired Alex at Onside. Eventually, I would have hired Alex. Guaranteed. To work with Austin. Guaranteed. Love both of them. That's the part that pisses me off most about everything that happened with Onside. There were a lot of young people that we had a chance to maybe develop, give them an opportunity. They can grow in this business. And, because that was the idea, man. Create an environment, create a radio station that actually gives a shit about people. You know what I mean? Because all these stations that we have now, and they're just garbage. They don't care about human beings. They don't care about developing them. They don't care about relationships. None of that garbage. You know what I mean? Hate it. And so that's the one thing that I was I was excited about, obviously putting together a sports station for South Florida sports fans all over the world, not just locally. But I really also wanted to help the business itself because it's such a terrible business, and it's a shame. And it'll stay a terrible business because these stinking corporations are running it and they just don't care about the human beings, you know? So that's why that's why I'm blessed that we're doing this. We are, because I get to partner with Sean. You know what I mean? I don't look at Sean like he's working for me. I don't look at, Omar or Ira or none of them. We're all together. You know what I mean? It's kind of the way I look at it. And we don't have that feeling in radio anymore. We used to have that feeling with the Beasleys. The Beasleys gave us that family feeling because it was a family that actually owned it. And they were right there in the West Coast, Naples and all that other stuff. But after Beasley sold it, it just became so corporate and just Beasley was the last. Sirius too. I like working for the people at Sirius Radio overall, but Beasley was the last radio group that I enjoyed working for. Okay. James Crystal, I didn't mind. I know they had their financial issues, but they were good human beings at least. That was a good thing. At least the owner, treated me like a human being while he was going through his trials and tribulations and lawsuits and all that other stuff. But he separated one from the other. You know what I mean? And I will always appreciate him for that. Because hey, man, none of us are perfect. Things happen. Had to file bankruptcy, whatever. Things happen, and I got sad, that it happened. But at least when things are bad, that's when you measure who people are. You know what I mean? And I got nothing but love for Jim. So he handled it the right way, just like the Beasleys. I got nothing bad to say about the Beasleys ever. I can say a lot of bad things about some other companies I work for, but the Beasley Group, that's the last one that actually made us feel like a family. I got to admit. So let's see. Fantastic segment today with Navarro. You're the cojonudo. Thank you, Adrian. Appreciate it. I'm just a guy doing radio every day, having some fun, man. Radically says the corporations today hate what you are saying, Big O. It is sad. Yeah, well, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? Perfect Q says one thing about the pandemic that has surfaced is exposing how terrible the Disney Corporation really is. Yeah. You start hearing about how, Disney treats his employees and how, and let me tell you something that, I've heard things like that before. I don't know. I don't work for Disney. I love going to Disney. You know what I mean? Amazon's another one that apparently has this terrible, reputation treating its employees. I don't know. That's you find out about a lot of these things in the pandemic that's kind of come out. Ragin says, come on, Big O. What do you mean develop young talent? If they don't become superstars, employees immediately, they're fired. Yeah, pretty much. You're right about that. You are right about that. Let's see. Joseph Mark says, I'm late for the show. No excuse. What do you mean no excuse? Dude, you have a life. You got responsibilities. It's all right if you're late to the show. It's all right if you don't show up and you listen later on. It's all good, bro. You don't ever have to apologize for that. But I love you anyways, Joseph, for giving us the passion and the loyalty. My question, but what do you think about these running backs coming to Miami and Dokes? I mean, Joseph, right now, what are you going to do, man? You just got to get by with whatever you have. No running back is going to be the answer. Okay, guys, let's just call it like we see it. There's no Barry Sanders out there.
There's no Ricky Williams out there. There's no freak that is going to change the dynamics of your offense. Salvin Ahmed is not. Miles Gaskin is not. Malcolm Brown is not. Duke Johnson is not. If you sign Lamar Miller, Jared Dokes, whatever, I don't care who you put back there. None of those guys are going to change anything about the team. The only thing I worry about is, can you block? Because the line can't block. So somebody's going to get away from the lineman. So I'm just hoping that you have a running back that can pick up a block so Tua can pass the ball. Because in the end, you don't have a line that's going to give you any kind of ginormous holes or anything, so you can go out there and punish teams for 80, 100, 130 yards. You see what I'm saying? So let's not get too hung up on these backs. Let's just hope that whoever's back there can actually block. That's really the most important thing. So if Duke is back there, or Lamar, or Jared Dokes, or whoever it is that's left over from after all these COVID things, for those of you that don't know, right now, Ahmed, what's it called? Lindsey and Gaskin are all on the COVID list. Now, they still may be able to come back because by Saturday they have to have 2 consecutive negative tests. If they have that, and remember, they were already put on the list last week. So they've been on it for a while. Maybe they can, I don't know if it was exposure or they have it. Don't know. But there's a chance. But all I want is whoever's back there, can you block? That's all. I'm not worried if you can run, because even if you can run, you're not good enough to make any kind of a difference. You're just hoping to be serviceable that day. That's the peak of any Dolphin running back that's left. There was a guy that was asking, well, how come we find all these running backs? How come we can't find linemen? Well, first of all, it doesn't matter if you find a lineman because they can't coach them. The ones you have aren't all bad. It's just they're terrible coaches. So, but running back is the most interchangeable position in all of pro sports. So there's always going to be extra running backs lying around. Not that they're pro bowlers, but they're serviceable. Let's see. Ricardo says, hi, Big O. Do you know how Jared Dokes is doing in practice? I cannot find any news about him. He's on the practice squad. Don't know if he's doing anything of impact. Today's Tuesday, so we got to wait till tomorrow when they hit the field and do their thing. But right now, we haven't heard much from him, so that tells me there isn't a ton of trust for him. Okay, so I think that's the real problem for it. Don't be surprised if you see Preston Williams in the backfield as an H-back. I don't know. He can't even hang on to the ball, Tremolio. He's such a sack of injuries. God, I don't know. Perfect cue. I like Philip Lindsay. At least the man can also legitimately block. Yes, you are right. And let's hope he can get cleared and get in there. Should we keep Preston Williams? John, no. They need to cut Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, Albert Wilson, and who am I missing? Who's the other injury-prone guy? Preston, Devontae, Albert Wilson. Oh, and Will Fuller, of course. All those guys need to get out of here. Leave. Enough already. You can't deal with the MASH unit anymore. Can't deal with a bunch of guys that are unreliable. So Preston Williams has had more than enough opportunities, and the Lord has blessed him. He should be a stud in this league. But the injuries and the drops, it's too many. Big O, who takes Holland's place if Rowe is out? I don't know. I don't know who they're going to play. I don't know if they would play Fagellum. I don't know if they're going to play Eric Rowe, which he's really not a free safety, so I wouldn't play Eric Rowe.
Maybe Sheldrick Redwine might be the guy that gets a little playing time. Don't know. Don't know who they're going to put in there. Maybe Justin Coleman. Something like that. I think those are some of your options there. Big O, do you think Flo should rehire the cokehead to fix the line? The cokehead's already working. He's been working. I want to say he got a job 2 years ago. I want to say last year. Yeah. I think last year they gave him a job. I think he's in, I want to say San Francisco. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. A minute here. I will look it up here for you, sir. Coaches rosters. Here we go. I want to say he's in San Francisco. Don't know why. Let me see where are we at here. Where's the offensive line coach? Yes. Chris Forrester, offensive line coach, San Francisco. I was right. See, once in a while we get it right here on the show. Yeah, the cokehead got a job. I believe it was last year they brought him back. And he's been in San Francisco for the last 2 years now. So they can't get the cokehead. They can't bring him back. Okay. Big O, are we all vaccinated? Well, I am. I'm vaccinated and boosted. But I have 5 stents in my heart. So I take this shit serious. I don't downplay any kind of pandemic or virus or anything like that. So I am vaccinated and boosted. Boom. All right. Finn still have Alan Hearns on the IR. I don't know if he's still on the IR or they cut him. I mean, Alan Hearns, just a guy. He's a possession guy at best. Nothing more, nothing less. I'd love to see them bring back Jarvis this offseason. I don't think they should. I think they need to draft another wide receiver. I don't know about signing another free agent. Too bad Parker can't play a full season. He makes a huge difference when he does play. And because he's super talented. Can you imagine if Parker never had the injuries? He could have been a hell of a player, man. But the reality, we got to live in reality, right? And the reality is he suffered all those injuries and he's just never going to be the athlete that the explosive receiver that you thought he could have been. Those injuries have taken a toll on him already. Where's Incognito when you need him? With the Raiders. Where else? So there you go. Nothing wrong with being with the Raiders. Let's see, what else do we have here? I think just to make sure we have no breaking news. Cooper Kupp on pace to threaten the all-time receptions and receiving yardage record. That guy's a machine, man. I was watching him yesterday, and he is such a great route runner. It doesn't matter who's covering him. He will burn you one way or another. And Cooper Kupp, in a way, reminds me a lot of Tua. Because Cooper Kupp isn't built like Larry Fitzgerald. You know? He's not a freak like Randy Moss. He doesn't possess the freakish size and abilities of a Calvin Johnson. But yet, he's as good or better than anybody that's ever played the game, pretty much, except for maybe Jerry Rice. But the guy can burn anybody that he faces because he knows how to run routes. He catches the ball. He's tough as hell. And in a way, it reminds me of Tua, because Tua's not 6'5". He doesn't throw the ball out of the stadium. He can't run like Lamar Jackson. He's not built like Cam Newton, but he can be as good or better than most of those guys because he knows exactly how to execute at this level because he's smart enough. And it's a great thing to watch the Cooper Kupps of the world and watch Tua grow up and hopefully become a star quarterback. It's great to watch all of that because these are the kind of guys that end up proving a lot of people wrong. I mean, you look at it and you say Cooper Kupp, well, he's white. That and alone right there, you're like taking a shot at him, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you'll say it publicly and openly like I just said it. You know what I mean? And it just kind of changes everything. And the guy's as good as anybody in the league right now. And you know the ball's going to him, and you still can't stop him. Why? Because he's got the determination that most don't. He's got the knowledge of how to play the game like most don't. He knows how to put himself in a position to catch the ball, and the defender has no shot. And that's because the game also comes with intelligence. Doesn't matter what position you play. And I think there's a lot of you out there that are watching me right now that you're an overachiever in your business, in your job, for one thing or another, and you may not be the norm of whatever it is in your business, but yet you're one of the best. And this happens in all walks of life. We see it in sports all the time. You look at the person and you're already judging. And just by the looks, you say, yeah, no, they're probably not going to do this. And then all of a sudden, Cooper Kupp is one of the best receivers in the NFL. And you're like, well, wait a minute. This guy's not built the way I thought he would be. Not the athlete that I've seen other guys are. How's he this good? I'm sure a lot of people said, how is Drew Brees this good? He's not tall. He doesn't have a strong arm. But yet somehow or another, Joe Montana's always winning. Why is that? He doesn't have an arm like Marino. He doesn't have the size of Peyton Manning. He doesn't have the athleticism of Randall Cunningham. How the F is Joe Montana dominating? And that's what you see in Cooper Kupp, and I think that's what we have here in Tua Tagovailoa. The guy that doesn't fit those standards that you set, but he will exceed the standards that you expect. 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the text line, don't forget, folks, Pallet Rack City. If you own a business, whether it's here in South Florida, out on the West Coast, St. Petersburg, Tampa, Fort Myers area, out on the Gold Coast, up there, Fort Pierce, Melbourne, all those areas. If you own a business anywhere there, Pallet Rack City has you covered. So if your warehouse needs to get organized, call my friends at Pallet Rack City. Call Eddie, 305-887-9212. Tell them that Big O sent you when you call Pallet Rack City, man. Doesn't matter if it's racks, it's hand trucks, you name it. Everything that you need to organize your warehouse. So if you're in the middle of opening a new warehouse or you're about to open a warehouse and your business is growing and you need the right company to come in and set everything up for you, Pallet Rack City is the company to do it. Eddie Pereira has been at this for a long time. That's why they are all over the state of Florida and ready to help you. So if you're out on the West Coast, East Coast, out in the Gold Coast, give them a ring, 305-887-9212. That's 305-887-9212 for Pallet Rack City. And tomorrow at 9 a.m., is the Pallet Rack City Inside the Paint Show with Ira Winderman and Clay Ferraro. They will talk all things Heat and NBA, hardcore basketball talk for 1 hour. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:45. We will start the show and then hand it off to the boys, and they will take it to... I don't need to say it again because I didn't ask you anything. This woman is always in my business. I don't know. And how did they fit a woman inside this watch? I mean, this is a pretty small thing. How do you fit a human being in there? You know what I mean? What is it, Siri? Siri? No, she doesn't answer now. Siri? Siri? No, doesn't answer. I was going to ask Siri if she's into sex. Siri, are you into sex? Siri, are you into sex? It did answer. I mean, it was reading right now. The wheel was spinning. So she gets into my conversations when I don't ask. So when I ask, hey, do you like sex? It went off. Shy. Hey, is it going to rain today? Will it rain today? Well,
there's no rain in the forecast for today.
Okay. All right. Hey, will you make it rain at the strip club? No answer. Why no answer? See? Uncomfortable this watch is trained not to answer uncomfortable questions. It's not good. I like uncomfortable questions for the watch, right? Are you into threesomes? No answer. Tell you, bro. That's just not, wrong. That's wrong on every level. Hey, Siri, do you like roast beef sandwich?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Yes. Can you bring me Halle Berry naked?
No, I can't.
This is just not right. I mean, I paid a lot for this watch. I expect a lot from this watch. Seriously. Halle Berry naked is not a lot to ask. It really isn't. I don't get it. Don't understand it. Siri, did you watch Star Wars? That's not a bad question. It's not an uncup. See, I asked a normal question. Tell you, Siri's just... Siri, you got any... Hello, Siri? Siri, now let me ask you, Siri, do you agree... No, she's not answering now. All right, Siri, now... Hello, Siri? No, not answering now. How is it that it doesn't answer to Siri? Like, hey, you, does Yoko Ono suck at singing? But I can't. Does Yoko Ono suck at singing? Nothing. Nothing. Terrible. Big O, you are not going to get Halle Berry when Siri wants her for herself. Oh, I see. But I asked her, she was like, oh, that's right. I said threesomes. You're correct. She probably just wants a twosome with no me. Yeah, I wouldn't want me in it either. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. That makes a lot of sense. T-Bone says, she don't like you, pal. It's probably true. Halle Berry is naked in Monsters full, and all. Yeah, I know. Obviously, we know. I've seen the movie, Tremolio. I've watched the scene over and 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 over in. But I've watched it. Yes, I've watched it. Hey, Siri, will the Dolphins win this week?
Those in the know say that the Dolphins will defeat the Jets by 8.5 points.
How about that? There you go. I think that's the way you end the show. Siri telling you that the Dolphins, people in the know, she's just repeating the point spread, but what the hell? She says the Dolphins, should win by 8.5. Siri, what do you think about Tua Tagovailoa? Nothing? How about Tua Tagovailoa? No? Who does Tua Tagovailoa play for?
Currently, Tua Tagovailoa plays for the Dolphins.
Siri, Tua Tagovailoa, who does he play for? What was that again? She can't pronounce Tagovailoa. They didn't program her the right way to pronounce. See, our guy gets dissed by all kinds of people. Okay? Now, this is amazing because all we hear about is praise with the Patriots. They're amazing. They're 9-4. They're leading the division. They've done it again. And Mac Jones, and what a rookie. And he's the next Tom Brady. By the way, how come nobody talks about Mac Jones throwing 5-yard passes? Because he is the man in the box. I mean, he completely lives in the box. Nobody talks about, except me, of course, because I've been talking about that for months now. But nobody talks about that Mac Jones is like a man in the box. But there's all this praise for Mac Jones and everything and you should praise Belichick. I hate it. But yes, he's done a really good job overall. Gotta give him credit. I hate it, but we gotta give him credit. But it's funny how everybody wants to make fun, or not everybody, but certain people want to make fun of Tua and the situation he's in because his offensive line doesn't give him time. But yet Mac Jones can live in a box, yet his offensive line gives him time to go downfield, but he doesn't really go downfield much at all. In fact, he lives so much in a box that the Patriots told him, yeah, we only need you to pass 3 times this week. Or last week, you know what I mean? But it just, isn't it weird? It's like everything about Tua is, and then they say that we're the Tuanons, right? We're the Tuanons because, we defend Tua to an extreme. Well, do we really defend Tua to an extreme, or are we just pointing out that people pick on Tua for the short passing game, but they don't pick on the Patriots? They don't say, oh, yeah, they're 9-4. Yeah, but they don't let their guy pass. I mean, yeah, he's a rookie and all that, but I'm not that impressed. The guy just throws 4 yards. How come nobody says it about Mac Jones? How come people aren't constantly taking shots at Mac Jones? Oh, I get it. He's 9-4. That's what it is. So they're looking at the record. If Tua would have passed for 3 times in a game, they would have assassinated him. Okay? They can't even teach Siri how to pronounce Tua Tagovailoa. Where does he play?
The answer I found is quarterback.
Where does Tua Tagovailoa play? Where does Tua Tagovailoa play? Come on, Siri. Wake up, woman. Hey, Siri, where does Tua Tagovailoa play?
Tua Tagovailoa plays for the Dolphins.
See? Look at that. Kid gets dissed to the point they can't even teach the thing how to say his name the right way. I tell you, bro. This kid just gets no love. Love seeing Tua prove his haters wrong. I'm with you, Donald. I am with you. Because it's New England and they
are headed to the playoffs once again. Yes, they are, sir. Ask her what are Bob Kraft's top 5 massage parlors in Florida. All right, Siri, we have a question for you. What are Robert Kraft's top 5 massage parlors?
I found this on the web.
The wild, disturbing saga of Robert Kraft's visit. It did pull up a story on Kraft's visit to the massage parlor. Siri, let me ask you, do you get a massage in an Asian day spa?
I'm not sure I understand.
Do you like women to massage you? Huh? Siri, do you like women to massage you? Now, see? Now she shuts me out. I ask her uncomfortable questions and she shuts me out. You know, Siri, do you like to be massaged by women? See? And she did. The thing started going round. Like she picked up on it. Do you like massages? Nothing. There's nothing there. Just wrong. I'm telling you. This thing has mistreated me big time. Can't even get me Halle Berry naked. That's just wrong. Not good. I think I need a new watch. Ask Siri what she. Okay. Siri, what do you think of Joe old ass Biden? Okay, let me. Siri, what do you think of Joe Biden?
I appreciate your interest in politics, but it's not a part of my programming. This is a good conversation to have with a fellow human.
Siri, you mean you're not human? Siri, you're not human? Come on, I thought she was human. Yeah. So Sleepy Joe, she's got nothing. Nothing on there about Sleepy Joe. Okay? So she knows Sleepy Joe is probably half dead as it is. Right? Siri, how stupid is Trump that he wants bleach in his veins there?
I found this on the web.
Trump claims his comments on injecting disinfectants. I love it. That's fantastic. Siri is currently filing harassment charges on Big O. Yes, she is right now. She is. Yeah, but I'm filing, also charges too, because you're not providing the proper service. When you ask for Halle Berry, you should get Halle Berry. Okay? I'm just saying. Skip Bayless said what Tua has been doing is nothing short of sensational. I'm shocked Skip is finally on board. Who's next? Well, remember, there are some people that don't know really what a quarterback is. Skip Bayless probably doesn't really understand. He probably thinks all quarterbacks are 6'5" and throw through the stadium. That's probably what it is. I mean, I don't listen to Skip, so I didn't know that he wasn't a Tua believer in the first place. So that's the difference there. That's the part that that's where we will veer to different directions. I don't watch or listen to Skip Bayless or the turd, or there's a couple of people that I just there's no way you're going to catch me watching those shows or listening to them or anything. Sometimes I'm stuck listening to them or whatever because you guys send me a segment of something on Twitter, on the email, or on DM or whatever. And, hey, you got to listen to this. And I'm like, all right. And, so, no, Trump's not wrong, sir. You can put some disinfectants in your system and you'll kill everything, including yourself. Go ahead. By the way, after he said that, a couple in Australia, not even in this country, then did it and put themselves in the hospital right after that. Let's see. A Big O called to us juke.
The Polynesian Shuffle. Okay. Not bad. Now, is he Polynesian? You got to make sure. Let's not assume that he's Polynesian. That's the thing. I'm not exactly sure now. Is what do me a favor, Sean, look up what Tua's, I guess what is considered his nationality. I'm sure he's American, right? Because he was born in Hawaii, but what's his background? Is it Polynesian? Because I'm not sure, actually. So we can't necessarily call it a Polynesian shuffle if he's not Polynesian. Okay? So there you go. Ask Siri if she's better than Alexa. Let's see what one woman thinks of each other. All right, here we go, Siri. Are you better than Alexa? She stays away from controversies. It came out, the circle came out, but forget about it. No shot. Did not get it. Okay, Siri, can you bring me Sofia Vergara naked?
I cannot.
Man, I don't know. I'm going to return this watch. I mean, okay, Siri, can you bring me $1 million?
I cannot.
All right. So no naked, incredibly hot women, not $1 million. What else? I mean, I don't know what else to do. It's more annoying that Joy Taylor is a Tua hater. I don't think she's a Tua hater. I think she's a Tua non-believer, right? I think that's what it is. Like she doesn't think he's going to be a good quarterback. I don't think I hate her, but I get what you're saying. Big O Kenneth Cleveland is live. Where has he been from the Boom Boom Room? Big O Hallie is naked in the Boom Boom Room waiting for you. I'll be there in a minute. Siri, can you get me to the Boom Boom Room? She won't even touch that. Okay. Someone says, okay, Samoan is more likely. So it's the Samoan shuffle. Did you find out what it is? What's his background there, Sean? What do we have? What nationality is he? So I'm not exactly sure now.
All right, I got an article. This was from NFL.com right before his first start, and he said, it says what Tagovailoa's first start means to Polynesian football. The people of Samoa, Tua is Samoan, and the Polynesian Islands is hard to describe.
Okay, so he's Samoan. Okay,
well, he's
so
Samoan,
it's the Samoan shuffle. Okay,
but it's he's part of the Polynesian Islands, and it's they're talking about the Polynesian football legends, Jesse Sapalu. I'm gonna mess up these names. Vai Sakahima.
Put some respect to his name. He knocked out Jose Canseco in a ring.
Oh, okay. All right. And then quarterback Jack, the throwing Samoan Thompson.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. That's right. Vai Sakahima. He knocked the crap out of Jose Canseco. People, like Jose Canseco was talking crap, and then he wanted to, challenge Vai Sakahima, and Sakahima was a kicker, bro. So you think, oh, he's a kicker. And he kicked Canseco's ass in the ring. Pounded him, bro. I do say that, the Hey Siri thing. Sometimes she doesn't answer. Sometimes she just wants to be difficult. You know what I'm saying? Hey Siri. I didn't answer. See? Hey Siri, are you married?
I'm married to the idea of helping people.
How about that? Okay, so if you help people, why don't you get me Halle Berry? See, now she left. I caught her. Huh? I busted Siri. She said she was married to the idea of helping people. So now I ask her, why don't you help me to get Halle Berry? And she's nowhere to be found. How about that? Siri, can you get Led Zeppelin to reunite?
I can't help you with iTunes on Apple Watch.
Trying to sell something. I didn't ask you to sell me iTunes. I told you to, bring Led Zeppelin back together again. It's really amazing how these people can't do the right thing. Really is. Big O, she's not being difficult. She's being female. I love it. Siri is being a Karen. Siri, do you wear a mask? Huh, Siri? Do you wear a mask? She's still working.
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Yeah, Halle Berry.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Convenience, I tell you. There's no way I can get around this woman. No way. Maybe she doesn't want me cheating on her.
I'm not sure I understand.
See? Tell you, she is just amazing. She's answering on my watch, Big O. By the way, have I fired off any of your watches? That is funny. I wonder if I'm firing off any of your watches and all this stupidness. All right. We're out of here. I've been clowning around enough with this. We will see you guys tomorrow. We'll do a little earlier tomorrow. Remember, we're on at 8:45 tomorrow morning. Then we've got 9 to 10. We've got the Pallet Rack City Inside the Paint show. And then we'll be back rocking and rolling. We'll have some guests for you on Wednesday. And we'll get into all kinds of different talk as the team, the Dolphins, hit the field and get ready for the Jets. We'll talk about the Heat game tomorrow because tonight they play the Sixers. We'll talk a little bit about the Panthers and the Senators. Hopefully they'll do a number on the Senators tonight. So it's all good. Adrian Gonzalez says, loving this childish jubilance. Boys will be boys. And that is me, because I definitely don't plan on growing up at any time, anywhere. Anyway, I love all of you out there. Sean, thank you, sir. Excellent work by you. We will see all of you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a good one.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show.